Willed.
Whatever. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Overdose 10 with special guest Tiffany from Tantrim. Take it away, Jim.
Okay, like Surf said, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us here at Overdose 10. We've actually made it into double digits with our shows,
Whoop, whoop.
Mainly because we are self-sponsored and there's nobody that can really pull the plug but us, and we feel like doing it every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So
we're drinking anyways. Might as well broadcast it.
For all of you who tolerate us and continue to tolerate us, thank you. And for those that wish to spread the word, please do so as well. So introductions. We have, we'll go from right to left, I guess, as everybody's viewing. All the way on the right there, we have Tim Maloney, the yellow bus, as he goes by. As Surf mentioned, our special guest today for Overdose 10 is Tiffany from Tantrim Cosplay. Everybody say hello to Tiffany.
Hello, Tiffany.
Hello, Tiffany.
And at some point, too, once after we introduce you, you're going to have to stand up and back off a little bit and show everyone the costume, because you made that yourself. There's a whole story behind all that, and we'd like to get to that. So anyway, so on to the next man, our gracious host, the man, the myth, the legend, Surf Dub from Surf Dub Entertainment.
I drink 2% milk, motherfuckers.
Next up, second to last, but certainly not least, we have Sean Shank, and he pretty much hates everyone. I'm getting some bad feedback as well in my headphones, so somebody is listening.
I was just gonna say, who's got the thing replaying?
Yeah, somebody's got something. Somebody's got to get their speakers turned off there. It's replaying through their computer. I can hear everything I'm saying, but like 3 seconds after I say it. That is awesome. All right. That fixed it.
Are we good?
And then, of course, you got me, Jim, from Jim's Nerd Nation. And I guess, like I said, welcome, and let's get started with the show.
All right. So, who wants to? Well, instead of starting with the first topic, why don't we ask some questions from our special guest?
Absolutely.
Which I don't have any. I'm just kidding. Oh. So, okay. Well, let me precursor by saying this. I'm totally out of it. I've always known about cosplay in that, like, I've been to conventions and stuff and I've seen it, but I used to always see the term cosplay and I never knew what the fuck it was until like literally like last week. And then so when Jim was like, hey, we got a special guest that does cosplay, I'm like, fucking right on. So so yeah, for our viewers who don't know, Tiffany, would you like to explain the general idea behind cosplay?
Okay, I guess I'll go into that. General idea of cosplay is basically, it comes from the words costume and play. You are dressing up as your favorite characters from whatever genre, and you present them at conventions or charities, or just do photo shoots and post them on your Facebook page. Now, for me, I wasn't really aware of what I was doing was cosplay until, I don't know, maybe like a year or two ago. Before, it was just, yeah, I'm just dressing up.
It was just a hobby. Now, is that something that you can get paid for eventually? Do people make a living doing this, or?
Some people do. Pretty much, like, there's really just a handful that actually get paid to travel. They sell prints. So it really isn't a profitable career type of thing. So if people want to get into it, they shouldn't get into it with ambitions of, yeah, I'm going to get rich and make loads of money and get famous and all that. I mean, really, people should just get into it because they enjoy their characters and they enjoy bringing them to life. So I don't think, yeah, you can really make a career out of it.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. I'm totally new to the industry, so I'm fascinated by it. The first cosplay I remember seeing was Jim. Do you remember when you took me to? I think it was Comic-Con in Rosemont, right?
Yeah, Comic-Con about 12, 13 years ago. I don't even know. Quite some time ago. Maybe 15
I remember seeing Witchblade, but here's my objection was that she was Asian and Witchblade isn't Asian. So I was like, what the fuck? But it was still, like, we were talking about this in the pre-show, but it was still like that 11, 12-year-old, like, raging boner no matter what lady you see. So that was my experience. I remember taking a picture with her, though. And Jim found a way to scheme us to the head of the line, too. You said something about, like, me being, like, your younger brother, like, is from, like, a Make-A-Wish Foundation or something ridiculous. got us to the front of the line. It was something. It was. I don't remember what you said, but I just remember we bypassed like a 3-hour line.
I've been known to bend the truth to not have to wait in a line. But you know, there's there actually, and I didn't realize until probably about maybe a year ago. By accident, I found out my 6-year-old son. I have 3 boys, and my 6-year-old son in the middle saw a video game that I played called Lollipop Chainsaw. And this video game is kind of an action-adventure game, and there's this blonde girl on the cover, and she's this cheerleader. It's this total cliche action game, and she's this cheerleader with a chainsaw and goes around killing zombies in this game, you know. Well, anyway, Logan, for some reason, got a little 6-year-old boy crush on this imaginary character in the video game. Well, it turns out there's this famous cosplayer, Jessica Negre, who I guess is very, very popular. I found out over the last year. I was looking up things about Lollipop Chainsaw for Logan, and I came across her because she was paid to be the official spokesmodel, and she designed a costume and dressed up as this character from there. So I liked her Facebook page, and before you and I had reconnected, Tiff, around the holidays, I had just been seeing things posted, and she makes her own costumes and and travels around a lot for it, and you know, sells prints and posters of herself and stuff, and seems to be very, very popular. Has done some things for a few different video games now. And then it was kind of neat when we reconnected because that was something that I saw, you know, immediately on your Facebook page that you were into, and you know, we talked, and you were telling me about the. So tell us a little bit about the costumes, because you design and do everything, right?
I do actually. I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 pieces that I haven't made myself, but I think I have roughly maybe 12 or 13 costumes, and I've made.
Wow, and how long does that take from like scratch when you start something out? Like, you know, even if it's divided up over a few hours a week, like how many hours total would you say it takes to make one of those?
Well, for me, I think they all take a really long time because I'm not as talented or experienced seamstress as some people might be that can get something done in like a day, but I'm getting there. Hours, it's really hard for me to calculate hours. I know some cosplayers will write on their page, this costume took me like 150 hours, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Holy shit.
But generally, I mean, depending on the complexity of the costume, if it's just maybe like a cat suit, that could take like a week or 2. Something like.
How long did it take with the one that you're wearing now?
Well, this one actually, it took a week, but there were probably 3 or 4 all-nighters in there because it was a lot of pattern adjustment. See, I don't know how to draft my own patterns, but I can take an existing pattern and tweak it to get the look that I want. And so yeah, that was a big part of this costume. And then after I get the pattern,
can we see your costume? Can we see this one?
Sure. I can.
Make sure you're talking while you do it. Because well, I'm saying because it'll focus in on
here, I can click on her. I can click on her.
Oh, okay. Well, then you don't have to talk, I guess.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're talking.
Yeah, I'm as far back as I can.
It's way sexier when you're talking.
I don't want to sound like a creep or nothing.
That's awesome. Is that Phoenix?
Yeah, it's Dark Phoenix.
Oh,
Dude, that was just a great like mini series within a series. The Phoenix Saga.
Now, do you ever not wear them to conventions? Do you ever just like fucking walk around on the streets of Quebec and just be like, "Look at me, motherfuckers"?
No.
That would be awesome. Just go down to like the grocery store.
Dude, you should so wear at the grocery store and take pictures. Like that'd be really funny on the Facebook page. Be like, every day with Tiffany Tantrim. Like, getting
That
shit
would
off
be
the
great.
cell,
Like
off
walk
the
up
show.
to people in like a crowded parking lot in a gas station or something like that, and just take random pictures with them and their kids and like action poses.
Don't even ask. Just come up to cars and start posing on them and shit.
I think that would be great. It's really neat though because
you know, people probably wouldn't flinch here. I mean, I guess they have crazy stuff that goes on. I mean, like I was downtown and I ran into like a fashion photo shoot like just on the street. So I mean, I'm sure.
So is it true? Are the people in Canada like really, really chill?
Yeah, but like I'm in a different part of Canada, so this is really like.
where do you live in Canada exactly? I know
When you mean
told
chill,
me
do you mean
before,
like cold?
or
Gangster's Paradise?
Where are you close to?
I'm in Montreal, and
Okay,
it
Montreal.
is
Are you in the suburbs of Montreal or in the city itself, or how is that like out here? Where like if you're like, you know how we would say we're from Chicago, but we're not really from Chicago. You know, we're just we're from like the white middle class area outside of Chicago where you don't have the fear of being shot.
No, I mean I am in Montreal. Like it says it on my address.
Okay.
So, I mean, there are areas, but it's not really. I guess it's not really as big as like. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it all yet. So I mean, like.
All right, so I buy Montreal steak seasoning. Is that popular in Montreal? Is that where it originated? I'm just curious.
And do they just call it steak seasoning out there?
Yeah, is it just steak seasoning?
Steak seasoning? I don't get.
Have you ever heard of that? Montreal steak seasoning? It's like it's a popular type of steak seasoning.
No.
You've never seen that? Oh my god, yeah, it's like that's what they call it. It's called Montreal steak.
Seriously.
I don't know why. I swear to God.
If you got a good steak, you don't need seasoning.
True.
Maybe I'll look for it when I go to
Yes, yeah. Since I got good at cooking, I realized that's true, and now I actually yell at my wife when she buys it. I say, we don't need. How do we need steak?
This is American.
Yeah, unless you get like those Walmart shitty sticks, but otherwise, just a good salt and pepper will fucking do the trick. So, we want to go around and announce who am I the only one drinking this week? Well, Sean drinks every week.
I actually don't have any beer.
Okay, so
Sorry, sneeze.
Okay. What was that?
I think he called me a Badusi.
Yes, I called you a pussy. Sorry.
That's so 1995, but I respect that. I respect that.
We should have a money drive for me so I can drink.
I'm still living in 1995, by the way.
All right. Well, I won't go around if the majority of people aren't drinking, but I will announce that I am drinking a beer margarita in the can because I got it for free.
Oh.
Actually, Tim's aunt, Yellow Bus's aunt today was like, we bought 2 cases of this, one in lime, one in strawberry. Turns out we don't like it, so here. I was like, all right, well, I don't know if I like it either, but I'll drink it, and it's okay.
The strawberry ones aren't bad. Yeah, we bought a case of those or a 12-pack or whatever a couple weeks ago and had them.
I'm just not a huge fan of beer margaritas because I feel like it ruins beer and it ruins the margarita. Nobody's happy. But, I mean, I'll drink it. I mean, whatever.
It sounds pretty gross.
Yeah.
You know what? I look at it as like you're doubling down. You're getting the best of both worlds. You're drinking a beer and you're doing a shot. You know?
Have you guys ever had
That's good.
Have you guys ever had one where it actually is like a big margarita glass and then they have like the beer holder?
Yeah, and like the beer's just upside down in it.
I got drunk, and you know how I am when I'm drunk. I like to steal shit, and I actually stole like you know what? You want me to go get it? I'll go get it, and I'll show you how big.
Go fucking get it, dude.
I'll be right.
Does anyone have any good drunk
I'll be right
stealing
back.
stories? Because I've got a couple of pretty legendary drunk stealing stories, which I will wait for Yellow Bus to get back to tell because
when I'm drunk, I just drink more. It seems to work for me.
I stole the flag from Palatine High School, and I mean like the 15 by 20 foot huge cloth one that like I mean we had to cut through the rope and
remember when that went up on your wall, it dominated the entire wall of your room.
And you know the terrible thing about it is it was like nerve-wracking because where Palatine High School is, it's right there, you know, a lot of cops drive by on Rowling, and there's like 2 giant lights that just beam right down on that flagpole, you know, and we pulled up thinking it was going to be a quick in and out job, you know, but they go and they tie some kind of knot that makes it really difficult unless you're a fucking boatsman or whatever, you know, to untie it. So I had to pull out a pocket knife and cut through this like 2-inch thick rope. This flag
you gotta be a Boy Scout or a poacher to fucking undo that knot.
It seemed like forever too, and I'm looking over my shoulder thinking that the cops are gonna, you know, show up at any moment, and then this thing comes flying down, you know, and lands on me, and it was like in a movie. I had to like fight my way out of it because it was I didn't realize how big the flag was. It was on Palatine High School, and then we saw it in the police blotter the next day. You know,
that's always rewarding.
Yeah, and we're referred to as like unknown criminal element stole. You know, stole, whatever, you know, the flag.
Gangbangers in Palatine again.
But is that when we stole like the 60 flags for that, and you set it up?
Oh no, that was a different thing. Tim and I stole like a bunch. We stole a bunch of flags in one night, and it was.
Jim, did you go with us when we stole that construction sign?
Yeah, I was the one that they used for the band for Jumpsuit Midget. Yeah, that was. What's that?
Were we drunk?
Were we drunk? No,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't remember though, to tell you the truth. So
I was so drunk and high, I don't remember if we were drunk and high.
I can't remember if we were drunk or high or both. Or no, we were probably soberish.
Yellow Bus, what was it that you wanted to show us?
Well, when I get drunk, and this is actually do not do this or attempt this because for some reason I never get caught, and I know people that have gotten caught and gotten like beat up by bouncers. So don't try this at home, kids. Don't try this at bars. you know the bar mats? Like, I'm notorious for stealing the bar mats. Like, straight up, like, they're, you know, the ones that are supposed to sit there and, like, take the water in so it doesn't leak.
The ones that sit like the ledges, like the long strips?
Yeah, I legitimately just grab them and fucking, like, stick them in my pants and take them home. And you think I'm lying, but I've actually tipped a cab driver with a Dos Equis one because he was like, man, that's badass. I'm like, you want it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, do I have to tip you then? He's like, no. And I'm like, all right. But I went ahead and I got really drunk from the beer garita. I just wanted to show you guys. This is something I did fit into my pants.
Here, I'll click on you.
And it comes with this awesome attachment. This is, you know, since we're on topic, so this is the size of my head, obviously, right? And this is the beer garita. So if you see that, you know, it's like a margarita glass.
Oh, dude, I have exactly the same one I stole, too. Hold on, let me go get mine.
And so it's pretty big. And then you put the beer in, but the best thing is the attachment. So this like little Corona attachment thing, you see how it has a clip?
Oh, you put the bottle in there upside down, and
so you put it upside down, and it kind of like holds it in there.
That's nice. I've only had Carrie, my wife drinks those beer margaritas. You know, you can get like Chili's or I don't know, I think we got one at Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that. And then I actually had one about a month ago, and I mean it was good. You know, that's the only time I've experienced them.
I have no glassware in my house. If you guys want to steal me about 6 of them, that'd be great.
Dude, I stole like the exact same one, Tim. It's like the thick-ass, big-ass one. I don't have the cool insert, though. I stole another one from Applebee's once, and then Tommy, our friend Tommy, broke it on my balcony. Were you there for that, Tim? No, you were in Arizona.
I don't think so. I think the funniest part is, though, whenever I go to this place, it's called Fuzzy Tacos. It's a taco place late night. The best part is I always go there, and it's always, you know, it's built for a normal bottle. But I go there, and they got the little Mickeys there, and I'm like, put the Mickeys in there. And they, like, sit there, they try to do it, and they just can't do it because it's a different size. And I just watch them struggle like some college girl that's, like, making, like, $6 an hour.
That's funny. Cruel, but funny.
And also very cruel. So do we have any topics for tonight? You guys want to throw
Yeah, you know, I want to start with surf, and I want to start with my annoying next door neighbor, because I'm sure we all have annoying next door neighbors we can talk about.
Oh, that's funny, because that was like something I thought of in passing. Okay, so we were talking about this in the pre-show. I've had a history of annoying neighbors in that, like, I've always played music, and musicians always get punished for being loud. It doesn't matter what you do, and they always threaten you with sound permits and shit. And I was telling Sean that, like, when I was a kid growing up, like 3 to 5 times a week, like, especially during the summer, the neighbors would call the cops on me for playing drums in the garage. And it's not like, you know, I guess I could understand the grievance in that, like, I didn't play drums for 20 or 30 minutes a day. I'd play drums for like 4 or 6 hours a day, like every day. And that's got to get annoying. But I'm an adult now. I have a business license. I have a brick and mortar building. And in my studio, I have my drum set and all the shit. Like, you know, for any subscribers that are watching, they know that all my videos, that's where they're shot at my studio. So we pay damn good money. We have a business license, and we have this fucking annoying next-door neighbor that, like, every week without fail, she complains about the noises there. And I just thought it was funny. The reason I had put it as a topic suggestion is, and it's part of my banner, I drink 2% milk. Surf Stupid Songs this week was filmed, and Sean was hanging out with me. We were just hanging out, and that day, because I was playing the drums, I had a microphone with my voice amplified, and it was pointing right at their wall. So everything that we recorded, these old ladies heard in a hair salon. That's what it is. It's like, it's not a typical hair salon. It's specifically for, like, seniors. So it's all old ladies there. So old ladies heard, like, me at the top of my lungs talking about, like, chlamydia, and, like sucking dicks and pussy and, like, whatever the fuck else.
Mic check.
The mic check thing, and the mic check isn't that bad, but everything else, like,
well, gonorrhea, diarrhea. What else?
Oh my god, there's so much shit that
it's like
people
rated
don't realize.
R to like NC-17.
Oh yeah, it's
content.
terrible. It's terrible, and like so much that, like, that's a 5-minute, 6-minute video. There was like 12 or 15 minutes of footage. So there's a bunch of shit you guys don't see about me talking about licking your mama's pussy and it smells like fucking beaver and all the weird kinds of shit. So the next day, my wife is doing picture day at our studio, and, like, the neighbor came over furious, and she was like, I know that couldn't have been your husband. They were talking about pussy tasting like candy and diarrhea and, like, all this shit. Like, it's just like, bitch, like, come on. Like, every fucking week we go over this. So finally, like, I wasn't an asshole to her, but I called and I left a message because she didn't pick up the fucking phone. And I was like, listen, I don't want this to be a source of contention every week, but we go over this every week. I already, as a courtesy to you, come in here at 5 in the morning or 12 o'clock at night, because those are the only times that is available aside from a class schedule where the studio isn't filled, because I can't film my videos and other stuff when like there's classes going on in the next room. It picks up everything. So I'm already coming in at like 5 a.m. or 12 o'clock at night to film my shit most of the time. If occasionally me or one of my clients needs to come in there and record during the day, guess what? That's what's going to fucking happen. And I just told her on the message, I was like, listen, if this is going to be brought up every week, then I'm going to forego that courtesy, and I'm just going to record whenever the fuck I want. You know, what are you going to do about it? Though I think the worst she could probably do is try and approach the police, and they could tell me to get a sound permit. But I don't even know if they can tell me to do that, because I have a business license. So, I mean, I don't know. And if they do, guess what? I'll just buy the fucking sound permit. I'm an adult. Like, deal with it, you know? So that's my annoying neighbor story. I'm tired of dealing with it, dude. It's every single fucking week. I feel a little bit bad for her, but not that bad. I've been paying good money to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's when it's especially bothersome, you know, in a situation like that. You're paying.
There's nothing I can do about it. Like, people don't realize, like, oh, soundproof the room. Well, first of all, like, most conventional soundproofing techniques just don't work. And I know this from experience because my father and I tried to soundproof our garage. It didn't do anything, by the way. And I worked for a studio that when they were building out all of their studios, they said that they spent like, there was like 12 different studios. They spent like $6,000 per studio for these special doors and these special walls to get them mostly soundproof. Now, if you want something that is like 90% soundproof, I think they spent like $15,000 or $20,000. I'm not kidding, $15,000 or $20,000 on a single room, and it was just for their drum studio. And the only reason they did that is because they have like a merchandise floor where you don't want to fucking hear people pounding on drums while you're trying to buy, you know, Mozart books or something. But it's astronomical fees to actually soundproof a room. So guess what? Like, I don't have that money. You think I'm gonna fucking soundproof my shitty little studio? Like, there's no way that's gonna fucking happen. So
I had a douchebag neighbor. I live in an apartment, and I wasn't even playing music. The kids are watching TV, and all of a sudden one night, they're knocking at the door, and it's the friggin' cops, and they're like, we got a sound complaint, and I'm like, from what? They're like, well, you know what? We were walking down the hall, we didn't hear anything either. We just have to respond to calls. So he's like, if you could just watch it. So I'm like, okay, and I knew it was the douchebag bitch upstairs. It's not my fault that she's so ugly. I've seen better heads come out of zippers and nobody will sleep with her, so I should suffer because I have some kind of life. So I mean, so the cops leave, whatever. About 3 weeks later, the bitch comes pounding at my door, and I fucking blow up at her, and I'm like, what the fuck do you want? I'm like, and my kids are there because they're watching a movie. I don't know, whatever they're watching, and
you're setting a good example.
Yeah, I'm setting a great example. And it's like, I know you fucking called the cops 3 weeks ago, and her face just like, you get like that fucking deer in headlights look, and she's like, oh my god, how do you know? Well, who the fuck else is gonna do it, you bitch? And I'm like, and I'm like, it's not fucking. I'm like, yeah, it's not fucking. I'm like, it's not that fucking loud. Like, it's not fucking bothering you, so just fucking leave me alone. And she starts talking. I'm like, if you don't shut the fuck up in 2 seconds, I'm going to slam the fucking door in your face. So I slammed the fucking door in her face. She went upstairs, and then, like, probably 3 weeks later, the kids are watching the movie again, and all of a sudden, I was on the first floor, she was on the second floor, so she starts, boom, 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 pounding on the floor. So I go to the fucking ceiling and boom, 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 start punching on the fucking ceiling. And then the apartment complex called me and said they had complaints. And
the moral of the story is Sean now lives in a house.
The moral of the story is I now live in a cardboard box far, far away from anybody. That is soundproof. So I mean, she moved out after her year lease. Apparently she didn't like me, and I don't give a shit. She can blow me. Well, I wouldn't even let her blow me. So that's the moral of my story. She was a cunt. Excuse my French.
What's funny is that you moved away from that apartment, got a townhouse, and now you move back to that apartment, right?
I moved back. Yeah, I moved back to the same complex, and it wasn't the fact that I didn't move because asshole neighbors. I mean, I moved because I figured I'd have more room for my kids, but the kids didn't give a shit about the room, so it's like, why not save money, buy a house, and just say F it? And honestly, these people here, I've been here for about 3 weeks now, and they're pretty cool. I've seen a lot of neighbors that they're very cordial, say hi, and me, I'm not Mr. fucking social guru where I'm just out here. Hey, I'm the new neighbor. You want to have a couple beers together?
Yeah.
I'm looking
making
for
some spaghetti. Come on in.
Come on over, buddy. And you know, everybody here says hi. They're pretty friendly, and you know, it seems like a younger bunch, someone close to my age. You know, I'm not looking for friends. I have two, and that's way more than I can handle. So you know, it's kind of nice.
It's nice when you have good neighbors, though. When we lived in the apartment, it was like a party mill, and we had this guy Steve who lived next door, and like the guy was a saint. He was just like a cool older dude, and he was like, I was like, hey, you know, I ran into the hallway once. He was like, do you guys have parties over there? I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, you know, if it gets loud, just knock on the door, let me know. Like, we're cool. You know, you have to call the cops. And he was like, no, I like to hear young kids having a good time. I was like, hey man, anytime
That's
you want to come over. Come over and have a drink. And he was like, no man, I'll drink a whole bottle of vodka. I'm like, oh okay. He was like, yeah, recovering alcoholic. And I was like, all right. So here's like this recovering alcoholic that's cool as shit. And he was like a funeral, like take master, whatever the fuck. And he was cool. That was the moral of that story. So that was nice to have. But
yeah, it's cool because I mean, not everybody. I mean, you can have good neighbors and you can have dick neighbors, and you know, I'm not Mr. Social Butterfly like I said, but I mean, I just want someone that's just going to be, you know, chill because I'm chill. I mean, I understand people are going to have a good time, people are going to party and shit like that, and I'm not going to sit here. You know, when I lived in my house, man, I came home one day after a hard day work, and my neighbors were having a fucking huge party, like a graduation party, and they had people set up in my fucking driveway. I just pulled in the driveway and says, hey, you can use the driveway as, you know, whatever you want. Just let me get in the garage. I didn't give a shit. You know, why be a fucking dick? These are people you have to live next to, and, you know, regardless of how long you're there, why the fuck be a dick? I mean, I'm a dick to everyone else. Why be a dick to the people I live with?
Well, tolerance is a big thing. You know, a lot of people don't know tolerance, but, like, that's the thing. You tolerate other people, and you hope that the universe returns the favor. What about you, Jim? Do you have any fucking asshole neighbor stories?
You know, I have, well, when we lived in Michigan, actually, this is a good one. Carrie's going to kill me, too, so this is perfect. When we lived in Michigan, we moved to Michigan, and at the time only had our oldest son. And when we moved there, my wife was pregnant with our now 6-year-old. So we've lived there now for about a year. We had moved into a nice area that was about a half a mile from the beaches in downtown South Haven. But we still had a couple of acres for the dog to run around and stuff. And there was this older couple that lived next to us. Uh-oh. And anyway, Carrie had the baby and slimmed back down from the little bit of weight that she had gained, and she was breastfeeding, so she was very top heavy, and to say the least. And anyway, so one night we're having a few drinks and about to have happy time, and she breaks down and starts telling me about how the old man, the next door neighbor, like went up to give her a hug, and he like copped a cheap feel. He grabbed one of her tits. And this guy's like in his 70s, you know. And
I can't wait to be that guy. By
the time she fixed to tell me,
I will be that guy.
It was the time when, I mean, we're both like half in the bag or whatever, you know, and she's like upset as if she's been dirtied or soiled or something like that, you know. And I just, and
my family honor is
well, and like initially I'm mad, you know, but then I'm thinking about it and I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go over and start yelling at this guy and have a fucking heart attack, you know. He was in his 70s, right? So anyway. There was a little bit more to it than that, but I mean, he was just an old man that was trying to cop a cheap feel, and you know that, and that's what he did. And ultimately, though, it wound up being she talked me out of going over there and yelling at him or anything like that. And I forget how I did it. It was in a roundabouts way, but he was married, and he didn't want his wife to know, of course, you know. And somehow or another, that's what it was. He knew that I was aware of it. I don't know how. I don't know if Carrie mentioned it to him or whatever the case was. But he wound up going to his church, and he had his pastor call me and try to set up a meeting between the two of us because we live so close to each other. And now, mind you, we're in rural Michigan. This is where like people, you know, just disappear and you just never see them again. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking like, you know, anything, but I mean, out there you could get shot and left in the woods and nobody'd ever find the body. You know, it's just. So this guy was probably fearful, you know, too, that, you know, he had done this or whatever. Maybe he had good intentions, I don't know. But I told his pastor exactly what happened and everything, and that, you know, he was basically this old dirty pervert and everything else. And he had told the pastor that he just wanted to set up a meeting to talk with me, not for why. So he kind of like excluded the fact that he copped a cheap feel on my wife. So anyway, it wound up hurting him worse in the end because they lived right next to us, and we could see this pastor coming to and from the house, and he had obviously had wife was probably mad at him when she found out. And so that wound up working out better anyway. And I felt better about not going over and threatening to or attacking a 70-something-year-old. It just didn't seem right, you know. And especially when she described to me exactly what happened, it wasn't like he was sitting there like, ah, ha, ha, baby, you know. He went around and gave her a hug, and I guess he, you know, kind of slid his arm across one and gave it a little squeeze there on the way out. And now, listen, can you really blame the guy? I mean, he may die tomorrow. You know, he may die in his sleep, and you know what? And even if I went over there and killed him, he'd die happy. I mean, they're you know, they're nice boobs. You know, I mean, I would have done it. So anyway, that's my story. But it was an uncomfortable year after that, is what I mean. For you know, because this was like a month after we moved into the place. So
I just have a question. So that's unacceptable.
That's a statement, Sean. That's not a question.
Okay, I was just wondering. I mean, that may explain why a lot of my friends don't let me hang out with their wives. I mean, you know,
that's unacceptable.
The day when you know, you brought Carrie and I did that, you never said anything. I didn't know you were holding a grudge against it, and we're gonna bring it out on Overdose. So
well, she probably just doesn't tell him about when it happens anymore. I don't know. So we've probably gotten past that point now. She's just like, who cares? But anyways, it was a pretty funny, you know, just because the way you had to go to turn into the street to get into our long driveway, the driveway went right by their house. So their house was on the corner of the street, and our driveway was next to that, and then the house sat kind of back behind theirs. So, I mean, you had to see these people almost every day, and it was, you know, kids are outside playing and everything else. So it was just an uncomfortable year, you know, because I promised Kira I wouldn't go over there and
the uncomfortable year with the titty grabber. That should be a book. You should write a novel.
So anyway, so that's a neighbor story, and then just recently we live in a townhouse, and yesterday we went to take the kids to see the Man of Steel movie, and we get back, and my father, who's been staying with us now for a while, he was watching our youngest, and he goes, Jim, I need to talk to you. And he whispers all like real low, you know, like it
sounds like Wolverine,
like from Goodfellas or something, right? You know. And he, come over here. And part of it's he's got emphysema, so he can't really project his voice like he used to. And part of it was that like he thought he had something just paramountly important to tell me. And well, apparently we put our garbage out too early yesterday. And the nosy neighbors, which is I know what happened, called the president of the association. And the president of the association, some bitter, mean old woman, came over, knocked on the door, and you know proceeded to tell my father, well, I'm going to send them a $50 fine for it. It can't be out until 6 o'clock or whatever, and it was in the afternoon. It was like 4 or 5, you know, and so that was our other experience, you know. And you're just thinking, you got to be kidding me. So then yesterday we're watching, and there's people putting the garbage out like a couple hours before the, you know, the time that you're allotted to be able to put it out. And I'm thinking, you know, this had to be a neighbor that called and complained, you know.
Yeah, well, Jim, see what happens when you're that old and the batteries go out on your vibrator because you have nobody else to fuck you. You have to come and, you know, take it out on somebody else, and it's totally, you know, understandable. I mean, when you get that old and, you know, you take your clothes off and you can't even look at yourself in the mirror besides vomiting, who the hell else is going to look at you? So,
well, Sean, you can relate. I mean, you got the dicky-doo going on, you know what I mean? Your belly sticks out further than your dicky-doo.
It's did that for quite some time.
I used to have a dicky-doo. I'm glad I got rid of the dicky-doo.
I haven't seen my penis in about 15 years.
Honestly, that's how I measured my fatness for a long time, was I'd look at myself in the shower, and if I couldn't see my dick, I knew I was in bad shape. Once I could start seeing my dick again, I knew things were good. Okay, let's move on. Tiffany, do you have any nosy, shitty neighbor stories?
Actually, the place that we lived at before this one, when we first moved to Montreal, like, it was in the middle of the winter, and we just needed a place, and it was great until. Was
it a house, apartment, a townhouse?
Well, they're really weird here. Like, there really aren't apartments. They're duplexes. So everything's a duplex.
One neighbor.
What's that?
So just the one neighbor, just basically a house split in half.
Well, they're in half, and they're by floors.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We moved into a middle floor, but up until May of last year, there wasn't anybody above us, so it was great. Well, then we got neighbors, and they had a little kid.
Oh, Jesus.
They have a kid too. But the way that this duplex is set up, like, there's a long hallway, and everything is, like, all the rooms are just connected off the hallway. So this kid, he was 20 months when they moved in, so he was able to walk. And, oh my God, he could get up so early and just run,
Just start
down the hallway, run up and down the hallway. And he didn't have a good bedtime either, so it'd be like 9, 10 o'clock at night, run up and down the hallway.
Oh my God.
It wouldn't really bother us that much, except we have a kid too, and his room was right above her room. And so anytime he'd wake up and start running, she would wake up. So she got on a really awful sleep schedule. And yeah, so we moved basically because of that. So now we're the upstairs neighbors.
Did you guys ever end up confronting them, or you just were pacifist about it?
Oh my God, we did so many times. And they were actually really nice people, so it was really hard to be like, hey, you know.
Hey, you're nice people, but you're shitty parents, and I wish your kid would fucking stop being juggernaut upstairs.
What I think they did was, like, okay, during the rest of the day, okay, I don't care that he's running up and down, because that's what kids do, but it would be like 5:30, 6 a.m., and every time would wake our daughter up, every single time. And what I think happened is they were still asleep because you didn't hear any other walking around. You just heard this kid. So they just they're like, whatever, we're gonna sleep and you can just run. So yeah,
So it's like total negligence. Total negligence.
That's the way I parent.
And that's got to be especially frustrating because you don't know the people. I mean, we're in a townhome here, and we have 3 levels with the basement, and my little office studio, whatever you want to call it, down here that I spend a lot of time in is in the basement. And we have a 17-month-old, and he has been walking and running for about 4 or 5 months now, and it's wood floors on the floor above me. And he runs everywhere he goes. So all you hear when I'm down here, I mean, it sounds like there's like bulls stampeding back and forth through the house. It's just like, and I'm like, what the hell, you know? And I'll go upstairs. I'm like, Carrie, can you please just put him down for a nap? Put him in the playpen, something, you know?
Shake him violently. Come on.
It's very.
Dude, I've almost ruined my marriage over my fucking dog trotting around upstairs. No, seriously, like there's a wood floor there, and like you can't see with the camera, but it's just 2x4s. It's like not a finished ceiling. So like what is right there is right here. I can hear it. And my dog, Charlie, bastard's sleeping over there. Charlie, come here. He'll just clip clop. My dog's a husky, so he's got basically what that means is he has energy all the fucking time. It doesn't matter what you do, he's always going. So like Jamie will come, my wife will come home, and she doesn't get home until like 10:30 at night. I'm like trying to chill or concentrate or do a commentary for my channel. And I have to stop because all I can hear is clip, clop, and it's not like a regular dog pace. The dog fucking runs like this the whole time. It's like crazy. It's like all the fucking time. So like I've got a point where I'll call Jamie upstairs and I'll be like, listen, that's got to stop, like right now. So I'll be like, put the dog in the room. And Jamie is very lax, you know. So she's like, her timeline is totally different than mine. I grew up in a household where if you didn't fucking do something now, Mom or Dad were gonna flip some shit, and it was gonna make for like a bad weekend, you know. Like so like I'm used to like when I'm given an order, I do it now. Jamie did not grow up in that household, so I'll be like, please take care of this now, and she won't take care of it for like 10 minutes. So there's been times when I've called her like 3 times in a row. I'm like, this has to stop now. Like I like freak out. Like I can't.
That's so funny that you say that too, because we both obviously grew up in the same household, and I just realized that I'm the same way. Like I get very, very angry with Carrie or the kids when I ask them to do something, especially with Carrie, because you know sometimes she can be forgetful. She's got a lot on her mind. There's more kids than adults now. That can be difficult.
She's outnumbered.
You know. But a lot of times, you know, but for me, and I have a good memory. Her memory it isn't quite, quite as good. And I have a good memory, and I do things right when people ask if I can. Otherwise, I forget. You know, a lot of times it just sort of, just flutters out, and I forget about it. And especially with her, I'm just like, why didn't you do that? It was right in front of you. You were right there. You know what I mean? And you acknowledged me and said, yeah, I'm going to do that. So it's kind of funny because we both it probably has a lot to do with the household. I think it has to do, like you said, with the household that we grew up in.
Because like for us too, for our viewers who don't know, like okay, my dad's a Vietnam vet. He's super intense by default. My mom has like anxiety issues, so she's super intense by default. So like the thing is usually my dad worked like 100-hour week, so he was always gone. When they were in the same room together, it was fucking double trouble. Because like then you get my mom who would fucking freak out and shriek at you, and then my dad who'd back it up with like this fucking crazy bark. So it was just like it was not a good dynamic. So like in terms of like getting shit done,
yeah.
you fucking did it
bad
right
cop. It was
now.
like bad cop, worse cop.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Seriously.
What about you, Yellow Bus? Do you have any asshole neighbor stories?
I mean, it seems like we're just kind of women bashing. So should I go that route?
I don't know if that's nice.
I mean, I don't think it's intentional women bashing. I think that, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like most guys are, I guess, more understanding because, I mean, we're the louder ones. So,
and most of my story had to do with a dirty old man. So
yeah, that's true. There was
only a second, only the last 30 seconds.
Well,
was the,
mine is for the most recent one that I've had was, you know, I'm in an apartment complex and. God, this woman pissed me off so much. It was so awkward.
It looks like she really got to you.
I was gonna say.
Well, okay. The first. There's 3 encounters with this girl, and she finally moved out. And like when she moved out, I threw like a fucking party with myself and a beer. But we'll go 3 encounters. Okay, the first encounter is you're simply pre-gaming at your house, right? And I'm very respectful. This is an apartment complex, but it's for older individuals who probably got out of college. And for those who don't know, I'm still in a college town in Tempe, Arizona State's campus. But it's normally like younger people that got hit by the recession and, you know, can't get another house because they foreclosed, short sale, whatever. You're not allowed to get a new house usually for like 7 years or something. But so it's dark. It was like Friday. We're pre-gaming my place at like 9, and you know we pre-game for a little bit. I have the music going, but I don't have like the bass shrieking. And this like dark figure, and you know it's kind of like where the patios all in the back kind of like somewhat meet up, and you can kind of like peer over the the stone wall. And you know we're just minding our own business, having fun. We're not doing anything crazy. And then you just hear this like, "Excuse me." I'm like, the fuck? Like I'm looking around. It's like I couldn't really even make it out. Like I went inside, and then there's another. Like I guess I'm looking outside because I went inside to grab another beer for people. I come back outside and like they're finishing up a conversation, and I guess this girl was like, "You guys are being a bit loud. The bass I can hear it through mine. And if you guys don't know my layout, like." The bass is coming through my little nook in my bedroom, and then it has to go into the living room and then bounce off the living room wall, and then like there's like no possible way this girl can hear it because then it goes into her living room, and then she'd have to be in her bed. I'm assuming she's in her bedroom, so that's like 4 different walls it has to go through. So she's complaining. I never saw the girl. I just heard her complaining, and then like my friends kind of like shushed her away, and then we turned down the bass for a little bit. We went out. It was like, whatever, you know, maybe she was just concerned. I have no idea. Maybe she's just a prick. I don't really know. You know, Friday night, you know, from 9 to 10, 10:30, you know, the benefit of the doubt, people are going out. And so then I was in my apartment gym, and this was like on a weekend, and there's a Smith machine where it's kind of like that machine where you could, you know, you can rack weights. And so I set it up. And then this girl's like at another machine, and I set it up and everything. Then I go get some water. I come back, and she just kind of is like standing there. I'm like, "I'm sorry, can I help you?" Like I put the weights on. She goes, "Oh, it's just like there's always a guy on this machine." And I'm like, well, I mean, I set the weights up, and you weren't there, and I already put the weights on there." And she's like, "Oh, like." I'm like, "What are you trying to do?" And she's like, I'm like, "Whatever, you know what, just use it, I'll run. You know, I'm trying to be like polite. You know, who knows? I'm just trying to." In my head, I'm like, I fucking can't believe this girl, but I'm like, whatever, like, we'll figure it out. I'm patient. I'm just gonna run, and then it's gonna, you know, it's the point to where like if someone's being a douchebag and is taking up a machine and it's like on a cell phone, you just kind of use it, go work out, and then like your workout's just longer. But anyway, so she goes on there. There's a bar, like a straight bar that I was using, and I put weight on it, and so then she's like, "Well, I'm just gonna use the Smith, which is like the 5-pound thing that's on the, you know, the aligned pathway or whatever." I don't know what I'm saying, but so then she puts like 10s on each side and does like squats, like with like maybe 25 pounds total, and I'm sitting there like, oh, she does like 3 rounds and just leaves. I'm like, okay, whatever. I did my workout. As I come back, I realize this girl is my neighbor. And then I realize that this is the girl that yelled at my friends earlier. And I'm like, oh my God, you're on my shit list. And so This is the third encounter, which I just lost it. Like, I lost everything, and we had a bunch of pre-games since then where I just jacked the bass up, and I just don't really care. I just put it up to where, like, the security guard would stop us. And I don't know if she was there or not. I really don't care.
Well, she's, like, young, too. She, like, in
well, here's the thing. I don't want to give this backstory, but she's, like, probably, like, between 23 and 30, and she was just, like, a big, thick girl, like, really thick, like, not, like, out of shape fat, but she was just, like, every part of her body was like twice as thick as it normally would be on a girl, which there's nothing wrong with that, but like it just rubbed me the wrong way out. She has this like attitude, and then she's like, I don't want to go in this machine, and then she like lifts like she's never done in her life. And then
3 shots and leaves.
So this is the third encounter, and this is what I lost it. So we're coming. Me and Christy went on a walk. We come through the back of our patio, and that's where the patio's attached, whatever. And there's just this dog just chilling in the courtyard, and it's like the cement courtyard, and this dog's just like kicking it. And we're like, okay, did someone's dog run away? Is there like someone around? And the dog just like went ahead. Like, Christy's playing with the dog. I kind of look at the collar, and I'm like, okay, there's a number, and I like call the number, no response, like straight forwarded. I call it again, straight forwarded. I text it, you know where this is going. So I text him, I'm like, hey, we have your dog. Can you please come to this patio in the D building? The dog is here. And I'm like, okay, and then there's a gate open from the neighbor across, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's this neighbor's, like I'm kind of peeking in hers. Finally, like 15 minutes later, the girl that, of course, I hate, she comes through, and the way that the back patio doors are built, it's kind of just like a hinge door, very short, and there's like a way for like a small dog to get through, like a Yorkshire Terrier or something. This is like a miniature pinscher, and she just put like a folding chair to where like one side is still completely exposed, and so he must have just like went out because he was just like, you know what, I'm bored, and he came out and was chilling.
Well, maybe he hated her too, Tim.
No, I guarantee he hated her because he loved Christy, and he liked me, I think. And the second she comes out, she's like, oh. I'm like, is this your dog? And she's like, yeah, I was vacuuming. I'm like, okay, well, here's your dog. And she just kind of goes, yeah, like kind of just like, I don't know if she's like shocked and like just didn't know, you know, shocked that she would actually have to interact with someone that she like acted completely irrational previously, like a month earlier. I just kind of was like, you're welcome. I went inside the house, and she just kind of like mumbled under her breath, like, yeah, I was vacuuming, so I put her outside.
It sounds like Milton.
I'm just like,
is she still your neighbor?
Please leave.
No,
yeah, she finally moved out, and it was so funny because me and Tom were working out one day, and we looked. It was like it was raining in Arizona, and it was kind of like on and off drizzling. And she was moving out, and it was like her dad and her little brother, and I was just laughing so hard because she was just getting rained on. I was just like, even though it's not like the worst thing, I was just kind of like, yeah.
But in Arizona, it rains like twice a year, right?
It wasn't monsooning, but I was just like, that is the last straw. I was completely rude to her just because she was rude to me, and I really thought about just stealing the dog. Didn't work out.
Fucking people,
but
man.
It was just like inconsiderate. Like, I go completely out of my way, like. There's this one time, not to go on too much of a tangent, but, you know, I'm the kind of guy in the gym where you know, I know people that are completely rude that they'll be like, yo, are you using this? And they, like, kind of force you into a corner, and you're like, no, I guess you can use it even though you were using it. But, like, if I even see you, like, near it, like, I won't touch it, and I'll wait for you to, like, finish your set, and I'll be like, hey, are you by chance using this? And, like, even if someone, like, is rude to me, I'll be like, hey, look, like, if you really want to be that rude and get on this, like, I'm not going to condone it to the fullest extent, but, like, I will let you do it, and I will probably laugh at you and work out around you harder, but, like, it just rubs me the wrong way when she was just like, like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm like, well, how about you, like, run for 15 more minutes, do some cardio, you know, and then you can go ahead and get on the squat.
Yeah, people's attitudes never cease to amaze me. I think because, too, for me, it's like I'm the type of personality where, like, I'm not here to create any static. You know what I mean? I'm not here to make waves. Like, if I have a problem with you, I'll let you know. But otherwise, as long as you're not seriously, like, trying to hurt me, my wife, or my son, or someone that I care about, like, nothing's that big of a deal for me to get worked up about. It just isn't. You know, it's just how I am. So I don't get it when other people are like, some people are just out there looking for fucking shit. People are out there just looking to fucking start problems, and That aggravates the fuck out of me.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna go to the next topic, but just a quick story about that since we're doing that is, it was like me and some people in the gym, and we were being like not too loud, but the apartment complex is like really small gym, and we were doing deadlifts, and so like at the very end you slam it a little bit, but this girl's on the loudest treadmill that like has like a little click when you run. It's like and she has her headphones in, and she's actually on the phone talking, so I mean she's not really doing anything important. And like we went through a 30-minute workout routine, and at the very end when we're like just about to finish, she like turns around abruptly, takes her iPhone headphones out, and she's like, "You guys are distracting," and just leaves. And we're just sitting there like in awe, like completely shocked. It's like, wait, so you were like, you had everything on, you were on the loudest machine, you had your music blaring, you were talking on the phone, you waited 30 minutes of us doing like a moderately loud workout, and then at the very like 5 minutes before we actually finished, you like decided to turn around, complain, and barge out of there.
People are so fucking stupid.
I couldn't help but laugh. I was just like, oh my god.
You know, I want to talk about real quickly, and it doesn't have to. It's not even part of the topic list, but it's just something that pisses me off. And it's about one of my least favorite people in the world, and that's Lil Wayne. And I don't know if you guys saw this.
Lil Wayne.
Yeah, but I don't know if you guys saw this. He's working on a new video, something about America, and he trampled the American flag. Like he legitimately in his video walked on it, and he claims that he didn't know he was stepping on it. But if you watch the fucking video, you see that his bitch ass eyes looking right down on it, like he don't know. He pretends like he don't know what the fuck. Either that or he's fucking high as a kite and has no fucking idea what the hell he's doing. Seriously.
See, I have no strong ties to nationalism or symbolism towards our nation whatsoever. Like that type of stuff doesn't bother me. But I do agree that when you're flat out doing something that you're trying to make a statement, you're trying to make a riff, and then to back out on it is just like the biggest pussy ass shit in the world. I saw in my Twitter feed today someone talking about that, and it was like an article. It was like Lil Wayne being blamed for trampling the American flag, even though he didn't. And I never clicked on it because I was like, Lil Wayne's a fucking. He's not worth my time.
He did. He's just a fucking douchebag. So hey,
first of all, it shouldn't even be on the ground like that, right? Like why would it be just like draped on the ground?
Because he's an ass clown. He's an ass clown, and you know what? It's just something for him to get fucking attention. That's what he does. He's not on death's bed this week. So hey, let's trample the American flag. I get attention for that. Douche. Fuck off, Lil Wayne. Thank you. Goodbye. I'm done.
See, that's part of the stuff. Like I covered for viewers who didn't watch it. I made a video and I put it out today about like why musicians hate pop music or pop musicians, and like I try to be diplomatic when I'm discussing sort of things like that. Especially because my mentality towards those things has sort of progressed throughout the years. But I still do have a major problem with like publicity stunts and people just being douches in general. Like it's just a really, I don't know. I guess to me it's because I have a degree of humility and like I'm not all about like shameless self-promotion and doing whatever the fuck I can to be seen in front of people. Like there's a major disconnect for me with those types of people. I don't understand it. I don't get the narcissism thing. I don't understand it. So when you see that type of shit, it's just like, morons being morons, It
is. It just.
What else can you say about it?
Exactly.
I'm gonna spank my attorney and get thrown in jail for a night.
Yeah, well, a night. You mean 7 days, man? Chad Johnson got tossed in jail. If you know who Chad Johnson is, Ocho Cinco Bengals. He played for last, wide receiver, and last week he was in court for domestic abuse, and I guess he headbutted his wife, and. He was in there, and they had a pretty good plea done for him, and he, basically tapped his attorney on the ass, and the fucking judge was being a douchebag and fucking threw him in jail. She sentenced him to 30 days in jail. Really,
well,
that's what we're sending people to jail for?
Did you hear what happened with that? Go
ahead, Tim.
Well, he went to jail, and then none other but, what the fuck's his name? T.O. Terrell Owens visited him, which they're both amazing, right? So T.O. visits him. They have like a heart-to-heart, and I guess like Chad Ochocinco like cried and apologized, and the judge released him the next day.
Oh, yeah, but he was apologizing last week. Seriously, I mean, we're putting someone in jail for slapping their attorney in the ass. Like the taxpayers have no fucking better money to spend than putting someone in jail. I mean, they'd already fucking come to an agreement on what he was going to do, and they were going to extend his supposedly probation. He was going to do some more community service. So seriously, we wasted a week of the taxpayers' money for this guy to fucking sit in jail because he tapped his attorney on the ass. Jesus Christ! If I
read an article, I think for the average inmate, it costs like $26,000 a year to keep them fed and housed.
More expensive than college.
If I got put in jail for every time I accidentally touched someone's ass, I'd fucking be in there for the rest of my life.
So, like, is there a video of it? Does he, like, flat out touch her ass, or what's the story on that?
Well, he taps my ass. It was on TMZ last week.
It's a guy, isn't it?
Yeah, his attorney's a dude.
What kind of tap? Are we talking like a go team, like in baseball?
Kind of like boom, like.
Or are we talking like what the old guy did to my wife? But
no, I mean it's kind of like a good job thing. It's not like he's grabbing, he's sitting there with fucking two hands going, ooh.
I mean, it's still inappropriate. He shouldn't be touching his attorney's ass, but I agree that it should, just because.
Yeah, I think it was bullshit. I think it was just probably some judge looking to make a name for themselves.
Yeah,
by saying, hey, listen, I don't care if you're a superstar and you got all the money in the world. The law is the law, and for whatever reason or another, I'm going to try to make an example of you.
Well, she got a lot of backlash, from everybody. So I think that's one of the reasons she did let him go.
That's the problem with a deterministic system, like our judicial system, and even in our government powers, is we try and make a system of checks and balances, but ultimately it always ends up with somebody has to have a majority of power in order to make decisions, and the problem is that you're relying totally on their scale of consciousness to do what's right, and instead of maybe like operating on a system of principle, where there is a true democracy, which we certainly don't have. We'd like to be fooled to believe that the people run this country, but that's clearly not the case. And it sucks when you see shit like that, because here's a judge that's, clearly in this case at least unqualified to make a judgment that's of any value, and here we are, like you said, wasting taxpayers' dollar over something that's really a non-issue. It's sad, but it's one of the many things that make America America.
Woo!
America.
Come to think of it, I forgot about that. Our guest lives in Canada, so this would be our first. This would be our first our guest from out of country. From north of the border. So, how do you like living up there, Tiffany? You've been up there for a little over a year now.
Yeah, going on 2.
Going on 2. And now you moved up there because your husband got transferred for his job, or took a job up there, or.
Took a job. Sorry,
he transferred. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's different. I mean.
Did he transfer willingly? I mean, was this a promotion thing, or was this he has family up there? Is he originally from the area?
No.
No.
There's no family. None of that. No, it was a job he wanted. So.
And in that area in Montreal, I know Quebec is a lot of French speaking. Is there a lot of that in Montreal as well, or is it mostly English?
Well, okay, so Montreal is both French and English. So
okay,
you go to a store, you check out, they go bonjour, hi. So it's normal now. Before I was like, that's kind of weird, but
that's kind of different.
It gives you an opportunity to speak the language that is most comfortable to you. But if someone says something to you, they will always start off in French. You say, I don't speak French, then they just switch over to English. So for the most part, people do speak both, but it is definitely predominantly French. So,
oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
They should have that option, or you should be treated like that when you go to like a Walmart. You should, be able to say, listen, no Indian or whatever it is, because many times, more often times than not, at least when I go to those places, now that's what it is, it's just like, listen, I don't mind the accent, but, sometimes I know you're not saying words that I know in the English language.
Yeah.
So I was just asking how that was, because I've never lived in an area like that that had both two languages spoken commonly.
It's really cool, actually.
Spanish.
You live in America. Spanish is the first language, and English is the second.
That's true, but I guess I never really, stores and things like that I go into.
I'm going to start tomorrow when I go to work. I'm going to start having my people start off and say hola and hi at the same time. Hola.
I was just thinking about that.
I'm going to do that tomorrow. Awesome. I'm going to have them do it all day and just see what kind of reaction we get.
Now, how long have you been doing that cosplay for, Tiff?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Well,
you said now that you've made 12 or 13 costumes.
Well, yeah. I guess I've been doing it since 2008, so 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Consistently. Cool. But I made my very first costume in 2003 for Return of the King.
Oh, for the Lord of the Rings, for
Yeah.
Return of the King.
That was my very first costume. I
What
made.
was that?
I made
Was that for a
Arwen.
comic convention you were going to, or was that just for like I'm
No.
gonna be one of the crazy people that shows up to the midnight premiere like
Okay,
dressed up
so-
as like were you Gandalf or were you what was your?
Yes, I was Gandalf.
Awesome.
Actually, it was one of those trees. No,
Well, you guys both have the same length hair. You're much
The
better
Ents?
looking, but you know.
no, actually, you're still in Illinois. There's a movie theater in Hoopeston, Illinois. I don't know if you're familiar with it, called the Lorraine Theater. And
Hoopeston, Illinois.
yeah, Hoopeston, Illinois. That's where we went to go see Lord of the Rings because it was just
Oh, okay.
a one-screen theater, and they made a huge event out of the movies. So it wasn't just me going to, I don't know, the AMC or whatever, dressed up in my.
This was like going to a Star Wars convention, you know, or something like that, or like going to see. You remember like when the Star Wars movies were re-released, and
Yeah.
you'd show up and there'd be like hundreds. I mean, it was a big to-do, man. There was people tailgating in the
Yeah.
parking lot, and it was a party kind of. You know.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it was a huge event. They would have costume contests and things like that. So we saw all three of them there. It was an amazing theater. I mean, the sound system was, oh my God, you could feel it. So when we saw Fellowship of the Ring, everybody was in costume and they had a contest and everything. And I've never made a costume before at this point, but I said, all right, next year for Two Towers. Oh wait, no, we watched Two Towers there. So I said, next year for Return of the King, I'm going as Arwen, and I'm going to be in this contest, and it was fun. I mean, I didn't win anything, but putting all that work into a costume and it looking good and looking, accurate was awesome. So
I can only imagine. I mean, the only thing that I would just compare it to, artistic type things, and as you were, I'm sure remember, I draw,
yeah,
and there's many times that I would get into, doing something, and it would take me, 6, 8, 10 hours till, an all-nighter type thing.
yeah.
So that's the only thing that's the closest comparison I can draw, but I can imagine that's, it's a really cool thing being able to, obviously put your talent into creating something like that. And,
Yeah.
and then certainly even better once you're, going to these different conventions and things like that. I saw pictures on your Facebook page for anyone too that's watching. It's Tantrim Cosplay. But go over there and check it out because there's some really neat pictures on there. But you just recently did a public appearance, didn't you? At a comic book store.
Yeah. I participated in Free Comic Book Day. It's every year on the first Saturday of May, and I've developed a relationship with Expert Comics, and they're really cool people, and they invited me to just hang out at their store as whatever costume I wanted to put on, which was Catwoman, and take pictures with the kids and just be there. So it was really fun, actually.
That's pretty cool because I can't get invited anywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, seriously, it's really. I mean, I'm gonna be 40 soon, and I can't get anyone to invite me. My kids won't even invite me to their birthday parties anymore.
Weddings, funerals, he's just not on
exactly.
the list ever.
Yeah. I found out my dad died 2 weeks ago. It was 5 years ago. I mean, seriously, I can't get invited anywhere.
Well,
Regardless of what I dress like, seriously, it gets kind of old.
Well, what's that?
I mean, I guess the baseball jersey and a backwards hat doesn't help, right? I only have one pair of clothes I wear every day, so.
Yeah, that might not do well.
I'm gonna have a Sean cosplay next week.
Yeah, that's fine. It's super easy. It's just a fucking Bulls hat backwards and a fucking starter jersey that looks like the Bulls. It's not really hard.
So what type of projects are you working on now then? Because aren't you going to the Dragon Con? Is it? And where is that? Isn't that in the southeast somewhere? Is that maybe Atlanta?
Yeah, that's Atlanta.
Okay, it is Atlanta. All right. And is that when is that coming up?
Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend. Okay, so
Yeah,
just with
so
still
end
a
of
few months
August,
off. How many
early-
costumes are you bringing to there?
Let me see.
It's a 2 or 3 day event, isn't it? Or is it 4 days?
Technically it's 5, so
Oh, wow.
it's from Thursday
Holy
to Monday.
moly.
but we're going Thursday, and we're leaving on Monday. We're not staying at the convention, so I'd say I'm trying to bring like 5 or 6.
Oh, okay. So you wore wear more than one costume in a day then at the
Yeah,
convention.
so you can do well. I haven't before, but I've seen people do it. Like the most I ever brought was 4, and I did do one day. I did 2 costumes, so it's cool. You can do like a day costume, which is more, I guess, appropriate when there's kids running around, and then you can do a night costume, which can
Night
be
costume.
more of a
See,
day.
are those the ones that I mean? Because typically superhero comic book characters are they're wearing tight, revealing clothes, those sort of things. So I imagine
Well,
that's
actually,
when.
those with the tight revealing, like the spandex, that could be daytime. But I'm talking about like, I don't know, like a Goblin Queen type of costume. You know,
Oh,
that's a
okay.
nighttime costume.
I see. That's the nighttime
But
costumes.
that's the best thing about Dragon Con. You know, like all these other conventions, they just, you know, they're like, I don't know, 9 to 6. So Dragon Con is hosted in 5 hotels. So when
Wow.
the dealer rooms close at 7, the party is still going on till, I don't know.
Oh,
like
there's
4
gonna
or
be
5.
bars everywhere. That's gonna
Yeah,
be
there are
great.
bars. So I mean, it's a big costume party.
I might have to come to that. I will be just dressed as myself, but
Dude,
It's good
Dick
people.
That's
Guy's
Atlanta.
costume. But
sort of on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, you don't have to be in costume to have a good time. You can. I mean, the people watching.
well, yeah, because I mean, it's a comic convention, right? I mean, of
Yeah,
course, they've got a lot
absolutely.
of different appearances, like a lot of these, you know, a lot of these conventions do now with movie stars and things like
Yeah.
that. But
Well,
I imagine.
it's more than a comic book convention. I mean, it's every kind of genre you can think of is there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know, like crazy gothic stuff and the.
A little bit, but not
Little bit,
not so much. I mean, you've got sci-fi, you've got fantasy, you've got anime, games,
Walking Dead.
comic books. You know, I mean, there's everything in this convention. So.
What costumes are you working on currently to bring down there with you? I imagine a few of them are going to be ones you already have, but is there any new ones that are being worked on as we speak
Well, the new ones. Have you played that Facebook game, the Marvel Avengers Alliance?
I think I am guilty of playing that at work a few different times, yeah, when I was really bored, and it was actually kind of fun.
So last summer, Marvel did the AVX storyline. So there's the Phoenix 5 in there, which was there was Cyclops, Emma Frost, Magic, Namor, and Colossus. So that was the Phoenix 5. They all like got the Phoenix Force somehow. Well, the game, they put in a Phoenix 5 costume for Jean Grey. So she wasn't in the AVX storyline, but this game made a costume for her, and I thought it was pretty badass. So I'm doing that one. So that's one of my major ones. I was going to do Flemeth from Dragon Age 2, but I procrastinated too long and didn't really take into account how difficult making patterns for armor was. I mean, basically, I have to take these shapes from 2D screen, draw them on 2D paper, and like make them fold out into a 3D form. So it's really difficult.
So you need origami training.
Basically.
It
Dude, I
seems
saw
like
a
it,
documentary on origami, and this doesn't relate to anything, but they're like solving diseases with origami. But anyways, origami books you can find at like a craft store maybe that help you.
You know, that is probably a good idea.
Michael's, I believe, is a craft store that carries origami.
And we have one of those. Only
And
one.
I hear it's a good store.
And
No,
you know-
I don't craft, but
It's a great store, but I live in Canada.
And you know, the thing is too is that I have a friend of mine actually that I had met years ago playing on Xbox Live, and he's recently got into I guess doing like a male cosplay type things, but more like Halo, Star Wars, and Mass Effect, some of these things. And he actually there's people out there they connect obviously through the power of the wonderful internet,
I know
and there's guys that actually make these professional cast resin. Or I guess what is it? It's made of this like a plastic or a foam or something.
yeah,
I mean, these things
it
are
is a
painted,
resin.
and it's Okay.
And I've actually looked into that. It's what they do is it starts as paper crafting. So there's a software out there. It's Pepakura, and you get these files from games, these model files. People will extract them, and then they will make them to where you can put them in this the software, and basically it prints out all these pieces that you can put together with paper. And so what they do is
so you
they
just cut and paste or whatever the case is that you need to, and
you scale it down to your measurements or whatever. But I mean, they print them out accurately, exactly to these models, and so you start with cardstock, and then you apply resin and fiberglass and paint, Bondo and paint and all that stuff, and then you've got a Halo suit or a Stormtrooper suit. I looked into that, but the files are not available because Dragon Age 2 uses a different game engine than all these other ones, so people aren't able to extract those model files.
Oh, okay, so they're just not out there to do it. It'd have to be a custom job.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy. That's cool shit, man.
I didn't know there was that much into it. I mean, like I said, the friend that I have that does the things with they do some kind of resin casts, I think he calls it, or resin casting for some of the different weapons, and the armor, I believe, is made out of some kind of like heavy-duty styrofoam or something. But I mean, everything's meticulously hand-painted and all that, and it's actually pretty neat looking, I mean, when you think about it. But
now, Sean, you're slowly trying to transform into Ron Jeremy, right?
Yes. Honestly, I am. I mean, I started with the penis, and I'm honestly, I mean, I got the Dickie Doo, so I haven't seen it in about 15 years. So, and I've got
since candy bars were a nickel.
I've been rubbing Rogaine all over my body to have the hair. So pretty soon I'm gonna look just like him. I mean, I'm hoping within the next 6 months.
I thought you were Dago Doo-Wop. I thought you already had all that hair.
No, it's the Irish in me that doesn't let the hair grow. But
Sean, you've been practicing your countdown.
My countdown, what?
I mean, if you know Ron Jeremy, the girl's always like, he's like, count down. She's like, 9, 8, 7, 1, and it's just like, bam! He just pulls out and blows her.
Sorry about that. I must have missed that. I missed that in 3rd grade.
You need to watch. You need to watch all of his best stuff again.
Well, that conversation just took an ugly turn.
That one went south.
That escalated
My
quickly.
God.
Well, it took an ugly turn the first time you mentioned my name, and then it kind of went.
We didn't even have to travel to the dumpster. We were already there, you know.
Exactly.
We briefly discussed this on Facebook. We're like, is it going to be any different having a female on the show? No. Unfortunately not. I'm sorry, Tiffany.
I did try to control myself for a little while, but there's only so long I can't talk about my small penis and the fact that I masturbate 14 times during the show.
And he was fairly quiet last week too, so he's got extra
Oh, I've got some extra
pent-up aggression and anger
Jim,
that he's got to
like
get
you
out,
would say,
know?
Jim, like you would say, I've got some extra batter on the brain this week.
Got some extra baby batter. Baby batter in the brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sean, you are getting old. You're already butchering statements and shit. That's like a sign of old people.
It's like
I don't know
it's
if
like
it's.
when
I
our
don't know
mother
if it's.
says
I don't know
Facebook,
if it's.
like, get on the face page. You know?
I don't know if it's old or the
Goddamn
alcohol
internet.
or which one it is.
Oh my god.
Maybe it's a little bit of everything, man.
I love
Just
it.
don't know.
I was going to say new topic, and then I look over to the chat, and there's all this talk of like masturbation or whatever else.
Yeah.
It's like it's happening in the
You
chat
snuck
too.
off with your dog, Joe. We all talked about it. It's not cheating if it's your
Jamie
dog.
came home. I took a piss. I grabbed a new drink, and I said hello to my wife from.
You know what's funny is, what I think is funny is how Kanye West didn't want to be in the delivery room when Kim was gonna have the baby. Seriously, that fucker's head is so goddamn big. Who wants to see a
Fuck that
fucking a size of a fucking watermelon come out of fucking a poor woman? That poor lady was in such pain with that fucking guy's head popping out of her. Who the fuck wants to watch it? Squeamish. Anyone would be trying to see that big fucking head pop out. Could you imagine?
Kanye-
It's like a fucking Weeble, man.
Kanye West
Big
and Kim
head, big
Kardashian.
ass. I mean, seriously.
They didn't even give that
everything.
shit They didn't even give that kid a chance, man. Like that's just sad shit.
I know Kanye's just holding out. He's like, he can't wait until the day he's got to just start paying child support, man. And he doesn't have to have any type of direct involvement. I mean, that's.
Did you guys hear about the tweet that Taylor Swift did?
No, I was going to ask you about that. Now, what happened now? Because
So, I don't know if you, Jim, you might know because of Carrie, but You know, who, I don't know if you saw that one thing at the Emmys where you know, Taylor Swift got the Emmy, and I think
oh yeah, and he basically whiffed on her and was like
Yeah,
she
he
wasn't deserving of it or whatever.
Interrupted her during her speech.
Yeah, he was pissed off because Beyonce didn't get it.
Yeah, so he goes, I'm going to let you finish, Taylor, but Beyonce had the best single, blah, blah, blah. So Taylor Swift, once, you know, there's all this, like, celebrity gossip going around about the labor, she goes on tweets, and then Christy's telling me, she's like, oh, my God, you got to look at this tweet. I'm like, well, just tell me, because, like, I check my Twitter, like, once a year. And so she's like, okay. And it's like, I'm going to let you finish, Kanye, but I just want to let you know Beyonce had the best labor ever. I just thought it's funny. It's like, okay, well, that's funny because Taylor made a pun, but it's also funny because she actually didn't mention anything about her ex-boyfriends in it.
The thing that bothers me most about Kanye, except for the obvious narcissistic reasons, the fact that the guy's got such a big ego.
Yeah, and he's from Chicago too, which makes
Chicago. It's a bad representation.
It does, yeah.
Town. But what bothers me most is how rampantly not just accepted that he is, but enthusiastically received. Like it's I think it's a testament, honestly, to young, stupid people, because I think by and large the majority of the nation, there's no way I can believe in my heart that people actually respect him as an individual. It's one thing, like some people are able to listen to music and not care about what the individual is like. I don't have that same thing going on. Because I have an intimate connection with music, if a person's an asshole in real life, I can't respect their craft. I just can't. That's just me.
Yeah,
so,
I'm that same way too, and
yeah,
I think Carrie hates me sometimes for it because I'll explain to her, I'll be like, I hate this, person, and she'll go, why? And I'll go into because of something that I'm aware of, about that person. It's done, and it shouldn't affect me. I should be able to just, sit
right.
back.
And I'm a firm believer in the fact that like most of us don't see what goes on behind closed doors, and a lot of times people's public image is very different than the personal image. And I've even experienced just a little taste of that with YouTube, is because like surf is 80% of the essence of me, but that other 20% like just never comes through simply because it's like that's how that works. And so I often give people the benefit of the doubt, but then you have people like Kanye who prove over and over time, just by opening their mouths in public, how ignorant and egotistical they are. And like it's saddening because you do lead a good portion of the youth in the way that they think, and you're developing people's thoughts. And you don't know that you're doing that because you're too naive to understand it, or you're gloating too much about your last record. But to have such a marginal degree of talent, because as a producer, he does have talent.
Oh, by far, yes, he does.
But to have, in the grand scheme of music, such a marginal degree of talent, and to be so highly acclaimed, and to be so totally inept intellectually, like he's totally intellectually bereft. You know what I mean? It's to me, it's sad. And that's where I actually get truly angry at it. It's like you have people with meaningful things to say. I saw a meme today that I really liked of Macklemore, and I don't know a ton about Macklemore. I just started getting into him. For those people who don't know him, he's a white ginger rapper. He's like a redhead, and that matters.
I like him.
But the caption under it was talks about pro-gay rights and using protection or something, and still has a rap career. I was like, very true. Like, you don't have to talk about bitches and 22s and Cristal to have a rap career. You know what I mean? So that's refreshing. That, like, hopefully maybe guys like Macklemore can begin to change the tide. And, like, we see it with music all the time, where music starts as one thing and throughout just time periods it picks up different qualities, and sometimes it gets stuck in a rut for a little bit and then leaves it. And, like, hip-hop since the early 2000s and even the late 90s started changing its focus towards like this materialistic way of living. And it's understandable in that, like, in the culture that was happening, people that came from really true ghettos were experiencing wealth they had never known, and so that becomes some of the focus lyrically. But if you look at the roots of hip-hop, it was really revolutionary, right? And that it was talking about socio-economic problems that no one had ever shed light on before. So I'm really looking forward to, hopefully, in hip-hop, an era where this bullshit with the 22s and bitches and Cristal can fucking be done with, So, I don't know. I would really like to see that. What do you think, Tim? What is
I agree. This is just a meme that I found that it says, meanwhile, at the Nicki Minaj concert, and it shows a Pokemon.
Did you see the one I posted on my Facebook? Let's see if I can find that. This shit's funny as hell.
See, I mean, as much hatred as you have for Kanye, because I actually do like Kanye, but I understand he doesn't, like, think before he says stuff, 9 times out of 10. But Nicki Minaj has no excuse, and it's just like mind-boggling when he like rhymes the same word with the same word, and she like single-handedly can gut songs that have like somewhat of a chance, and she just comes and guts it. And I love radio stations that will actually edit her verse out. I think it's so awesome when they edit her verse out.
I saw that and I thought it was fucking hilarious.
And so that was worth sharing. Yeah, I mean, nobody really has an excuse. I mean, and you can write off the Kanye thing, be like, oh, he doesn't think before he speaks, but apparently he never thinks then because he's always speaking, and it's always some endless, like, true dribble.
Kerry and I saw, I think it was late last week, he declared himself, it was on the Today Show, he declared himself the best ever or something like that, or the best of a generation or something like that.
I am tentatively and subjectively the best at something.
Yeah, but something like that. He compared himself with some greats, but not just of music. Of like, I think he said he was like the Michael Jordan, and he like compared like these greats from different things that were outside of the music genre, and he is the king of music or hip hop or whatever he considers.
If I had one,
show me your genitals. Your genitals. Show me your genitals.
If I had one true hope of ever being able to contribute something globally, it would be that at one point I would be enough of an authority on a subject that people would respect me enough that I could interview people like Kanye and just objectively tear them apart. Not be one of those subjective douchebags like you suck just for no other reason other than that, but like be able to systematically dismantle his perspective on everything because he has no objective ability to make claims like that. Nobody does. I mentioned the commentary from today. Like, people do it with the Beatles all the time. The best of all time. No one can be given that title simply because subjectivity exists. It's like in 5th grade when you learn the difference between, like, a statement like of an opinion versus a fact. You know, like, Abraham Lincoln was the best president of all time versus George Washington was the first president of all time. Obviously, the difference between subjectivity and objectivity. People like that fucking drive me insane because they're trying to make something purely subjective into an objective fact.
Number 4 is better than the number 5.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're wearing your IQ on your sleeve, Kanye. Like, come on, man. Like,
at
least try and do better.
Right now, Spurs might be the heat out right now.
Let's get off Kanye because why the fuck should we give him any kind of credit for anything?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jay-Z, who's got a new album coming out, and he already sold 1 million copies to fucking Samsung for $5 a piece. His album isn't even out. He fucking made $5 million without even releasing the album. So anyone who has a Samsung Galaxy or a Samsung phone can get it 3 days early.
He fancies himself a businessman. I read a Forbes article with him, and get this, they sat down with Jay-Z and Warren fucking Buffett. Okay, for people who don't know, he's the most successful investor of all time. He's a brilliant, brilliant old man, and they had the audacity to sit him in the same room with this dumb fucking moron and to discuss business. Now, don't get me wrong, like, has Jay-Z as well as like Sean Combs made some good business? Sure. They've had the capital to invest in long-term ideas, and because they have the popularity to back up the brand, they've experienced some degree of success. Now, would they have had the same degree of success starting from the bottom? Probably almost not even, because 90% of the actual value of the brand is just in their name because they sell records. So is Jay-Z a smart businessman? Gathering from what I read in the interview, he doesn't sound like a very enlightened individual. But if you throw enough money at it, that'll solve the business problem. That's business.
I mean, he's been on the positive end of a lot of good deals. You know, this is a great deal. Seriously, think about it, man. How would you like to have an album that's not even released and already have $5 million out of it? I mean, that's a fucking great deal. Fuck Samsung. I mean, so Samsung comes to you and wants to pay you fucking $5 million. Okay, how do you say no?
Yeah, I wouldn't say no.
How do you say no? I mean, does that make him a good businessman? No, it just makes him have a fucking brain and say, yeah, I thought it was a great. You know, I'm not a huge Jay-Z fan. You know, I mean, I think he's talented. I think he's probably up there with one of the top 10.
To the Izzo.
Top 10 MCs, but I mean, personally, I don't like him. That doesn't mean shit. I mean, that's just my opinion. But you know, good for him. You know, if you can make money in the fucking industry, you know, good for you. You know, without sitting out here and selling yourself out 100%.
Especially in this day and age with record sales, like it's since like the death of the CD. You know, how many, like, there are a lot of legitimized users on iTunes, but still, by and large, I'd say the majority of people downloading shit are not doing it by paying for it.
I just want you guys to know that I'm about 37 seconds away from just being totally excited. And I think Yellow Bus is on the same page.
Yeah.
Are you guys watching a game right now?
Well, the Spurs and the Heat. Yeah,
They're about to win. They're about to win.
Yeah, the Spurs are up by
Spurs
3.
were winning most of the game, and then they started choking here in the fourth quarter, and we're actually down by 2 or 3 points for the last.
You guys want the Spurs to take it?
Back.
Yeah, any team that plays.
You guys want to see a funny 7-second video?
You know what I don't like about the whole LeBron James thing, the Miami Heat thing, and I don't follow sports, so I don't have much to say on this aside from this, so I'll make my comment and fuck off. But I don't like.
Just fuck off. Period.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like when people try to purchase a team. Teams are built. That's just my opinion. You know, maybe it's because I've played in bands. I've played on sports teams too, but to me, it's like the cohesion of a group of guys is built. That's not something you buy. You know, and it's like they just tried to purchase all of these big name players, and it's like they're getting what they deserve, man. They're eating shit. At least that's what it sounds like.
You know what? And I'll totally agree with you, because the fact is that if this was LeBron playing with Cleveland and he was going to win it, I wouldn't feel bad. The part that pisses me off is the fact that, you know, they did try to purchase fucking championship. They lost the first year to Dallas. They won last year, and now they're about to lose to fucking San Antonio, and that's all that fucking matters. It's nice to see, like, the Yankees, who spend hundreds of millions of dollars on a fucking team and don't win a championship, or the fucking Boston fucking why am I drawing a fucking Boston
Red Sox.
Yeah, the Red Sox, you know, spend all this money and don't get dick. That's the part is, you know, when the teams who, you know, don't spend the fucking hundreds of millions of dollars win, that's how it should be. It's a competitive sport. You shouldn't be able to buy your fucking athletes. That's what I think is bullshit. And that's the only reason I don't fucking want Miami to win. I don't think LeBron doesn't deserve rings. I think he deserves rings. I think Kobe deserves rings. I just think the fact that you can't just go and purchase, and basically what Miami did last year is they bought a fucking ring. And it's good to see that there's teams out there that are fucking showing them up.
Yeah, especially the old ass Spurs, you know.
Yep.
I would love to see, just to see how quickly the people who truly enjoy the sport are revealed. I would love to see in all professional competitive sports that players cannot be traded; they can only be from the state that they live in, and that everyone makes $1 million no matter what. I would love to see that, because overnight you would see the people who are really there for the game and the people who are really not. Because if you're truly passionate about the game, you'd take $1 million. I
don't really disagree with, like, if everybody, you know, made the same, that's fine. I just think that
it's called Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I just think.
Well, look at the Olympics; they're hailed as one of the hallmarks of human achievement because people compete so fiercely. We're like, you will never see in an NBA or any other match people, unless you're in the finals, you'll never see people compete nearly as hard as they do in the Olympics. Because the Olympics, what it was it for the game? It's for your country, right? It's for the human race. That's totally different than, like, hey, my contract this year is paying the most here, so I guess I'm gonna try and do a good job there. You know, it's totally different mentality.
Well, it's funny because a lot of people, you know, when their contract's about to expire, that's when they try to have those banner fucking years. You know?
No. Sorry.
You guys want to go on to a new topic?
Yeah. What's next?
Didn't a couple people mention stuff about some of the summer movies? Wasn't that one of them that we were talking about?
Well, you just saw Man of Steel. How was Man of Steel? Because everyone wants to know how that was.
I went out on a whim and saw that, and that was mainly because the kids. I enjoyed, you know, the movies in the '80s with Christopher Reeves, and when they did that reboot with Kevin Spacey and whatever 6-7 years ago, I thought it was terrible. So I was really very skeptical about it, and went to see it because, you know, the kids, you know, bugged me about it, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was really good, you know, action packed. You know, some of it followed with the comic book stuff for those purists, but I've stated before, I really don't care about that anymore, as long as it's entertaining and fun, and they don't stray, you know, too far, you know, from the source material. And I thought it was all around very good. The actors they had in there did a good job. Kevin Costner was in it. Russell Crowe was in it. And like I said, just a lot of action, a lot of good. We saw it in 3D, although I don't think it would have mattered either way. There was very sparse use of the 3D, but you know, overall, I would recommend taking the kids to see it, going to see it yourself if you're a fan of those type of movies. Yeah.
I love movies. I'm a movie buff, and I love going to the movies. And I find that, like, I probably don't see more than 3 movies a year at the theater, and it sucks. Like, I want to do it more, and I just don't fucking do it. And I don't know why.
We go all the time to Deer Park, which is right down the road from you there, and in the summertime they have a special on Wednesdays. Tickets are like $5 or $5.50,
No shit. That's a really
on Wednesdays
fun
over the summer. So it's really so it's really nice to go. It's somewhat affordable, at that price. So it's not too bad. But no, just in general, I think somebody else had mentioned too. Tim, I think you had something about Monsters University, World War Z coming out. Did you see The Purge? Was that?
Yeah, I went and saw. So, I went to California, and my girlfriend Christy had a shower to go to for her sister who's getting married, but then it was me and her dad, and we went and saw this movie Purge, and I can't give too many details because Christy's like right next to me, and I think she wants to see it, but it was a different dynamic of a movie. Pretty much the premise of the movie is there's no crime and there's no unemployment, and everything's like perfect. The economy's doing great, and it's all due to this law that they enacted. And it's kind of funny. I'll go into this law they made to where one day a year they have a thing called the Purge. It's like a holiday, and from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. this like bell goes off, and it's pretty much like you can commit whatever crime, including murder, and they like kind of like emphasize murder to get your aggression out. And it's kind of like, it reminded me of a 12-hour Hunger Games free-for-all. And I'm not going to spoil it in case you guys want to see it or...
I'd like to. I was kind of on the fence about it. Is it something you'd recommend seeing?
That's the thing is, I never saw a preview or anything like that, and I looked at the reviews afterwards, and like the critics tore it apart, but for what it was, I really enjoyed it. The concept's completely fresh. It's not one of those, pretty much those remake movies that we've seen a lot this summer. The sequels
it's not
that
an
are coming
idea that's
out.
been retread 19,000 times.
Yeah, and there's a few things that just don't make sense, and some things are just like, if I was in this instance, this is what I would do. But you just got to take it with what it's worth. It was really, it was thrilling. It makes you think about a lot of things, and it's kind of like it's not so much like the movie's a good movie. I would recommend going to see it. The best part is going to see it with people and then just discussing it afterwards. Like, you always have that conversation like, well, what happens if you have a zombie apocalypse? Do you go to the desert? Do you go to a mall? Do you stay in your house? This Purge thing, not to spoil it, but this guy makes, home security systems that pretty much put your house on like a shielded metal lockdown. And the whole movie you're like, well,
is this specifically for the Purge? For people that want to purchase this home system?
Yeah, people want to avoid the Purge. So the Purge is pretty much you're legal to go and you can like burn. You can go kill your boss. Sean, watch out. You can.
But you're saying that some people purchase this security system specifically to protect them, so they don't get attacked during the Purge, or
correct. So people that want to avoid the Purge process. And the mentality that I think is quite funny about it is I think they just like go and kill all the homeless people. That's why the unemployment rate's so low.
Is this worldwide that they do this, Tim, or is it just in the U.S.?
It's countrywide, and
it's countrywide. Okay.
It's a law that these people enacted to save the country, and it's kind of I think the reason why the critics kind of like it is because it's a small jab towards like the administration right now. I think there's kind of underlying tones of it, but. I thought the funniest part, and it's not a spoiler because you can see it in the first 5 minutes, is these politicians passed this law which everyone, what I just told you, they're allowed to kill, do whatever you want, use, and this is what I didn't get, that you can use anything that's under a military grade 4 weapon, which I don't know if like a 5 would be like a rocket launcher or something that would be like corrosive or something. I really don't know, but I thought it was funny that the people that made the law are also exempt, so it's incredibly illegal. It's like punishment by death if you kill someone that's like in Congress. So the people that made the law were also exempt.
Wow,
like, okay, that's funny.
Sounds like a politician.
Sounds like Obama.
I recommend it, and I do think it's a good sleeper if you guys have nothing else to do. And there's a 2-hour show at Deer Park, as you were explaining. I'd go see it.
I'm going to go see Monsters University next week when we're done with our recital.
There's a ton coming out. Yeah, we're going to do Monsters University this weekend with the kids. I really would like to see that World War Z. That actually looks, fairly entertaining.
I'm done with the audiobook. And the audiobook was okay, but I think the movie itself is going to be a lot different.
Is the Monsters movie, is that going to be in 3D?
Yeah, Monsters
think so.
University. Yep. Yeah, they'll have that in 3D and at both. But
All right.
we've been seeing a lot of 3D recently, just because we bought a 3D TV about a year ago, and
You can't really get past it anymore when you go to the movies.
And there's so many movies now too. Like we went and saw Men in Black 3, and we did not see it in 3D because the theater that we saw it at the time, it's now closed. But Arlington Theater did not offer that, and we saw it there. That movie was a movie that was designed for 3D, and when you saw it without 3D, you really felt like you were missing something. It wasn't that great of a movie to begin with, so it really needed to lean on those special effects, and it wasn't able to. And then there's other movies like Man of Steel. We paid the extra couple bucks to see it in 3D, and honestly, there was only a handful of parts that stuck out that
That's how I feel when I see 3D movies. It's just, I don't know.
They're getting better, I think, and especially with like the Disney Pixar type films, the animated films. It seems like those ones are coming along, and they're getting the idea, and they're trying new things out. So it seems like they're a little bit ahead of the curve, especially in the superhero movies too. We saw the Avengers in 3D. And it was good. I really thought it was, because I've seen it both ways, and I prefer it in 3D. So
I would say 3D is pain in the ass.
I'm gonna see World War Z in 3D for sure.
Yeah, that'll
Jim
be
likes it both
cool.
ways. Hey, what's the name of that game with the mech suits for the next gen consoles?
Titanfall.
That's the one I'm gonna get. I think I'm gonna get a. Do they have it for PS4? Because I only saw it for Xbox.
It's not even for
It's an
PS4.
Xbox
Sorry, John.
exclusive.
Oh, because I'm getting a PS4. I think I'm gonna get a PS4.
Yeah, I think Microsoft paid something like $50 million for the exclusive license for Activision to develop it for them.
But are they releasing it for
Electronic
360 as well?
No, it's only an Xbox.
Son of a bitch!
It comes out. It comes
That
out.
changes
I believe,
everything
in the
for me, 'cause I really
spring
wanna
of
play that
next
game.
year, so. Yeah,
I really wanna
eventually
play
gonna
that
probably
game, but I
wind up
think I'm gonna
getting
get.
both, but,
Yeah, I would like to get both, and I might do that this year. But I definitely am gonna go with the PS4, just at least for right now, because of the price difference and like just the.
Well, regardless, if you get both at launch this time as compared to both at launch last time, you're still saving a shitload of money because PlayStation alone was what, $800 last time. So I mean, shit, fucking, you're only what, $100 down if you fucking get both of them this time.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, I was at GameStop last week. I picked up a game, The Last of Us, for the PS3. It's an exclusive title by Naughty Dog. They're the ones that did the Uncharted trilogy, and on the PS3. And this game is so far it's the best game I've ever played, hands down. It's just, I mean,
Really?
it's ridiculously immersive. It's like playing in a movie, and this movie is kind of like a zombie apocalypse type deal, but it's just 20 years after the plague or whatever the case is. And there's a lot of things that differ. I won't go into it from a traditional Walking Dead type zombie apocalypse. But it is really, really just, like I said.
Is it only for the PS4 or PS3?
It's only, yeah, it's a PS3 exclusive.
Dude,
And
Sean, can I borrow that PS3?
I'm probably 8 hours into it, and I mean, like, we're on the show right now, and I'm thinking about, I wish I could be playing the game right now, and that doesn't really happen to me anymore. Very rarely. I mean, I have 3 kids, I'm married, and although there's times I'd enjoy to play a game, I'm usually not thinking about it. I put it out of my head because I know I have other responsibilities, and I can't do it until Friday or whatever, when next available time is. But this is one of those that really brings you in. So, but at any rate, I was going to when I was at GameStop, they had some reserves left for the PS4, and I was thinking about putting some money down. But ultimately, I think I'm still going to wait another month or two. I think there's going to be plenty of them at launch, despite what people may think from previous failed failed launches of things. I think there's going to be a lot of them. And I'm in no real hurry either. I want to see how things shake out over the next month or two, to see what's really there. So, Tiffany, how about you? Are you leaning towards one or the other of the next generation systems? You've been following any of the coverage? Or?
We're a gamer household, so we're going with both.
Going with both, right?
Yeah.
Right off the bat, or is there one that you're going to be purchased first, and one that's going to be purchased maybe 6 months or a year down the road?
Well, I think with the media capabilities of the Xbox One, I think we'll be going with that one first, just because we do a lot of Netflix, Hulu, all that kind of stuff. So I like that about it. But I mean, we're definitely going for both.
I think that's where I'm going to be eventually as well, but I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to wind up getting first. Now having 3 boys in the house, I could justify getting both, buying one at launch and then buying one for the kids for a Christmas present.
Right, right.
I could get away with that. But I don't know if I'd feel good about it. It's just a lot of money, right up front.
The thing that sucks for me is it's going to be at least a year, maybe even longer, before I can buy the next system. I just can't. I don't think I could do 2 in a year. I don't think my budget could afford it.
You feel bad about it, but I mean, look how long these last. I mean, these consoles, they don't.
That part of it is true, but you look at it. I mean, especially with 3 kids in the house. So like right now, we have 4 Xbox 360s in our household.
Oh, wow.
One in my little office. We have one in a main room, and then our 12-year-old and 6-year-old have one that one of them saved up for his. The other one got one as a gift.
Yeah.
But they watch Netflix on it, so that's their cable box in their room. So it's used for everything because they don't have, separate cable box, DVD player, that sort of thing.
Right. Well, that stuff's on its way out.
But my thing is it's the investment. It's not just the $400 for the 360. That's going to come with one controller. Well, I got kids in the house. We're going to buy at least one more controller, and preferably 3, because there's going to be a ton of cool 4-player games that you're going to be able to play. We do a lot of family gaming, and then you get into the games at $60 or $70 or whatever they're going to release them a piece, and I just look at it as it's going to be a lot of money, out the door. So I'm thinking maybe one at launch or around the holidays, and then then the other one maybe in the spring or whenever whenever it's more easily affordable.
I've never paid for a system at launch, so I'm excited. I mean, I'm gonna try to pay for it at launch.
Just cancel cable.
I just got my tax return, which was a lot nicer than I thought it would be. Thank fucking God. But
have another baby, Joe.
Yeah, really.
It's like 2G right there.
Between having a baby and a business, it actually turns out like the government is trying to do something because our tax return is getting bigger every year, and our net profit is not. So it's not like it's because the business is doing so much better. Like there's something going on in legislation that's helping us out a little bit. So that's good. But yeah, the thing is we've just got a lot of expenses this year. Like I want to get LASIK done this year because I have to renew my license next year, and like I'm afraid that if I don't, like I won't be able to get a full-time driver's license at all daytime. So like we just got a lot of it's fucking life. There's always something to pay for. So justifying all the money for both systems will be really hard. I want to go with Xbox because I love Xbox and I know Xbox and blah blah blah. But I don't know. I'm conflicted.
I will guarantee you that I know Xbox is getting a lot of hate, but give it both systems.
Stupid hate.
Yeah, well, give both systems out for a year, and I guarantee you they're both going to be at equal level. Maybe PlayStation is outselling Xbox right now, but Microsoft may have stumbled out of the gate like PlayStation. PlayStation had such a successful PlayStation 2 launch, they stumbled out of the PlayStation 3 launch. So after a year of the systems being out, there'll be both exclusive titles for both systems that everybody's going to want. And it's probably going to be a really, really close race this time, is what I think.
That would be the best thing for everybody, including the consumers, because if one is decidedly winning the battle, they have no reason to reduce their price point ever. The loser will then go and try to reduce their price point by $50 or $100. But if they're losing, there's a reason they're losing. The software is not there to back it up. The games are shit. Whatever the case is, they're online. You know what I mean? There's always some reason for it. If they're close and neck, they're going to start trying to undercut each other to try to bring in and drive more business up at critical times of the year. At the end of each quarter, when they need to have their numbers up, that's when you're going to see price cuts, and you're going to see them from both of them. So that would be the best for everybody, is if they both do well.
Oh, totally. And plus the fact that look at Sony this year. Like I heard that they were on the verge of going out of business. So they haven't been doing well.
Well, the only way Sony was profitable is by selling portions of its business. You can't sell portions of your business to make money. I mean,
crazy.
you eventually run out of shit to sell.
Because that would be the worst, is if like we're saying, if there is a decided winner and it gets so bad that the other is driven out of business. Now I think that's because Microsoft has so much going on for it. Because Xbox 360 is just one of its many things. They would keep going. But if they were driven, just say out of the game market, I don't even know if that's possible. Let's just say that it is. All of a sudden, then without competition, all of a sudden you end up with Comcast. You know what I mean? You end up with a company that has no reason to really get better.
Yeah, so or like the Madden games every year.
Yeah. So you guys are right. Competition absolutely will fuel the next generation of console systems to happen. Because let's face it, with the way technology and software is going, they already updated the fuck out of these current generation systems just by the software updates like Xbox. So imagine what this next gen is going to be like. Like we potentially could face something where like the life cycle of these consoles could be twice as long. I mean, it depends on the technology.
Well,
right?
look at the life cycle of this. These life cycles are longer than they expected. I mean,
They never been. And they said when these were released, they said that the technology was at least 4 years ahead of its time. You know, in terms of like what they were able to fit in that sort of construction, you know, running whatever specs it was running. I remember I worked at Best Buy at the time, so all the tech guys were always talking about it, and in all the magazines, what they said, like these systems, they expected a life cycle the way that it was because they said it's 4 or 5 years ahead of where all the other technology is, you know, in terms for this sort of thing. And so, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, we ended up, how long was this life cycle? It came out, and these systems came out in 04?
8 for the, 05 for the 360, and 2006 for the PS3. So, yeah, so 7 and 8 years. And the other thing, too, about having both systems is, because I've looked at some of the software, and I know a couple of the answers to my own question, but maybe someone else can shed some light on it, too. I know Titanfall is an exclusive for Xbox One. I know anything Halo related, so Halo 5 or Gears of War, whenever that next one's announced, that's going to be Microsoft exclusives. I understand that the game Destiny that Bungie's putting out is going to be on both, unless I'm mistaken in that. Games like Call of Duty Ghosts, Battlefield 4, Assassin's Creed 4 are all multi-platform. So really, as far as the PS4, I know that they have a couple of neat-looking exclusives, but you know, I think they have Infamous, and there are a couple other ones in the works. But what do you guys know of as far as, like, for instance, you, Tiffany, you're going to get both of them. What's the reasoning behind that? Is there a certain game that's an exclusive on each one that you can think of, or several?
Well, I've kind of been out of games for a while, but my husband, he works in games, so you know, he kind of has to have both as, you know, research, I guess. But like
where does he work for? Does he work for a game developer, a publisher, a retailer?
He is a game developer.
He is a game developer. Oh, okay. PC games, or does he work for a certain studio that works console games, or what?
He works at a studio. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to reveal anything. I wasn't even aware of that, so that's news to me and pretty cool. So, so he definitely has to stay abreast of things in the industry.
Yeah, he has to stay current for sure. So, I mean, for him, yes, he games, you know, like 5-6 hours after he gets home from work. But I mean, it's more of research. You know, it is fun for him too, but it's more of a research thing. So he's got to stay on top of it. So
I need to expand my allotted time for gaming. Like, I just don't. It sucks.
I need to do mine in the name of research too. So
yeah,
I definitely need to get involved at some level.
I need to do less masturbating and more gaming. I mean, that's my problem.
They need a masturbating video game, then you could kill 2 birds with one.
Oh my god! If the Wii would have came out with a masturbating video game, I wouldn't even be on this show right now. I'd be doing it right now.
I've heard that the companies turn it down all the time. Every time developers try to make like a pornographic game, because imagine with Kinect, you could totally have virtual sex, right?
I'm trying, but it's not working. So.
Well, the way to do that is you do some other game like a Kinect Adventures, and when they take the picture, that's when you try to do a weird pose. Like rip your clothes off or do it naked in the first place. Christy likes to flash a boob.
It's funny when they take those pictures.
Another thing, too, two things. Plants vs. Zombies sequel is only going to be for the Xbox One.
Oh, okay.
And then a little price breakdown. You know, the Kinect bundle thing, that's why it's, I think, $4.99 for the Xbox One. In spring or in the summer, you know, we all see it. It's going to drop the Kinect off, and it's probably going to be like $3.99 like the PS4, and the PS4 camera is an extra $50, so it really isn't that much of a price difference.
You know what I read about the Kinect thing? I didn't know this, but they said that they had trouble with developers with the last Kinect game because even though it had a good sell-through the first couple of months, it dropped off steeply after that. And so in comparison to the ratio of how many people own an Xbox versus how many people have an Xbox plus a Kinect, I guess it was a really small number. So the funding and the payoff just wasn't there for good Kinect games and to improve the technology. So I guess the reason behind bundling it was the idea that we know that every system we sell now will have a Kinect, which will entice these other developers to make better games because there's better payoff for Kinect. So that was one thing that was really bothering me about Kinect. Is like it's so clumsy. You know, you try and play Fruit Ninja and you spend 10 minutes trying to fucking slice the right thing on the menu.
Yeah, hopefully they're going to alleviate some of that with the second one. I had to mute for just a second here. My wife took the kids to a Sonic for half-price shakes after 9, and she brought me a homemade peanut butter bacon milkshake.
Oh my god, what's the story on that?
It is fantastic, man. There's like little bits of bacon, and it's like the sweet and savory type deal, man.
Oh, I just came a little bit.
My wife just brought me something home too, and then I realized she's not real.
Well, whatever. I mean, as far as I mean, I know somebody. Did I call her my wife? But
oh my god, I need to call my wife right now.
This is the most fantastic thing ever. If
Hey, sir,
honey, you just worked 12 hours. Do you want to go get fucking milkshakes?
Hey, Surf, if she could drop something off for me, I'll bring her some OT the next time she works a long shift.
Yeah, motherfucker.
The long shift.
Exactly.
So, what's our next topic?
Our next topic is how I'm getting pissed off at this goddamn stupid basketball game.
So, what's going on with
Went
that?
into overtime.
Tell us for all the people who don't care about sports. We need to know.
Right now, it's got 31 seconds left in overtime, and the Heat are beating the Spurs by 1 point.
Yeesh. It's annoying. It's very annoying, actually. Almost as annoying as the
fucking
TV in
annoying.
the background.
Why is it so...
You just cut yourself out?
What?
It's because we're all typing. I'm sitting here
I
looking
was
at the
typing,
chat.
yeah. That's why we're looking at the chat, and I think that's the problem.
I can't do two things at once. I just can't. It's just.
I can't do. I'm trying to do like 3 things. I'm trying to type, drink, touch myself, watch the TV. I don't know what the fuck's going on here half the time.
So, do we have any favorite or best of moments from the last 10 episodes?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Is that we're at episode number 10, and really we should be at episode number 13 if I'm not mistaken. If we didn't have the 2-week hiatus with the great Google Plus. We would be at number 13, but I can't say I have really. I mean, I enjoyed it all. I mean, I've had fun every single week we've been on here. I mean, it's just sitting with a bunch of basically 13 weeks ago. Besides Surf, guys I didn't even know, or I think Jim, I'd met you one time previous. Tim, I to this day I've still never personally met you. And just hanging out with a bunch of guys, getting fucking drunk, and just bullshitting. I mean, how much more fun can you have? I mean, seriously,
Dude, it's funny how this shit is like just falling together. Because I was like, when I approached everyone initially, I was just like, fuck, like we all liked Walking Dead. I figured we could start talking about Walking Dead. By the time we got the channel up and things rolling, it was the season finale. That was our first episode. We talked about the season finale, and then it was like, remember we were all like, okay, well, maybe over the summer we'll do like a review of each episode, and it kind of fell away because we all enjoy doing this so much.
And when you first asked me too, and you referred to it as a podcast, I thought that was I had no idea there was, because I didn't even own a video camera. Or
I didn't say video podcast.
Yeah, well, and I always thought of a podcast as something that you listen to, through like an iPod or whatever that's put up, like almost like a radio broadcast. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be fine for that, and and then when you clarified, I was like, oh, I need to go out and buy.
Oh, that's actually a lot more demanding than I have thought.
to buy some things. And
people have to look at my ugly puss every week. Boy, that's gonna turn people off.
It's funny. That's one of the things that makes my channel unique, though. Is I'm like the only YouTuber in the community that has a podcast with a bunch of unknowables. Like nobody here else is on YouTube. Like Jim is getting on YouTube now, but it's just funny because like I didn't know anyone on YouTube, and I didn't care about it. It was just like, I think the people I hang out with are interesting, so who wouldn't want to hang out with these douchebags?
And the funny part is, technically, I've been on YouTube. I mean, I've looked at it a few weeks ago, and I've been on YouTube since '97, and I've had a YouTube channel since '97, but 0 videos posted.
97?
I'm sorry, '07.
I was gonna say, like, did they make their
YouTube
company
didn't
right
exist,
after
right?
Amazon? I thought YouTube didn't start till like 2000, 2001.
I was the first fucking YouTuber, goddammit. No, since like 07.
It's been
I
on
was
since it
kinda
was in the
shocked.
beta stage.
Yeah, exactly. I was a
My
beta
registration
tester.
number is 7.
Exactly.
I'm
I was
customer
running.
7.
My computer was running Windows BC at the time.
Used to have to
So-
type code to make it go into the internet
I
browser.
was running it on an old DOS system.
Exactly. No, since like 2007 I've been on, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't even remember starting an account way back then. So I mean, it's been fun. I mean, the first 10 episodes have been fun. Who knows how far we can go?
It's weird
You know?
how much you can progress, like in your I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Like your level of comfort. Like, you know, I mean, granted, I make 3-4 videos a week. I'm almost at 70 videos now. Maybe I am at 70. I think I am.
Oh, you're over 70. You're at 71.
Oh no shit. See, Sean knows my shit better than I
Yeah.
do. But I was sort of already used to
Nice
that.
having an assistant, isn't it?
Sean's just like a fanboy. He's a major fanboy. I think that's the funniest thing is that like it's cool that like people genuinely are enjoying the channel, and I really like that. But yeah, by episode 10, it's just weird how much, at least for me, I've progressed in terms of feeling just comfortable all the time on the show. Because at first, like, there's this false sense of expectation because it's the unknowable universe of internet, and then you realize nobody watches anyways, so you just don't care. You know, you just have a good time.
Yeah, but you know the
I
nice
like
part
it.
is you know after the PK ad, you know you gained a bunch of viewers and you know people watch and you still had a decent retention rate. You know, I mean people
Yeah,
come,
people are
go.
checking
I
us
mean,
out. I'm digging that. That's fun, man. It's good just to have comments and people enjoying the show, you know?
exactly. I mean,
I've had a couple of guys send me some really nice messages, by the way. Like older guys that like watch the show. I'm like, yeah.
that like want to suck my dick. No, I'm just kidding.
Some older guys that liked it when that went Overdose where I didn't wear a shirt.
Exactly.
I mean, I'll take my shirt off, but then it won't be as sexy because I got boobs.
So
My
fucking hot.
my favorite Overdose moment was when Yellow Bus dropped an N-bomb and I had to edit that out the next day.
That was like
That's my best
episode 1 or
moment, too.
2, I think, wasn't it?
No, that was episode 4.
That
Oh, that was the one that got
That was
split,
episode
yeah.
4 part 2. Because that was when we had Tom and we had Gilman on, and that was our fucking that was the catastrophe where we had Edward Forty Hands.
That was awesome.
It's funny because it was a
That was my
catastrophe
favorite.
for all of us, and then I rewatched the video and it wasn't that bad. There was some distracting moments because Tim and Tom were just laughing the whole time and not paying attention, so it's like it became really
really.
distracting at some point.
You know, I mean, Surf, you and I had talked a lot through the first 4 to 5 episodes after the episodes, and you know, there'd be days I think it was a fucking catastrophe. Days you think it's a catastrophe, and the next day we'd go back and watch it and be like, "Fuck, that was pretty good, man. We are fucking as awful as we think we are."
It's weird,
You know?
like, yeah, you're just hanging out, you know? I think that's the thing I like about this type of show is, like, there's no expectations. That's, you know what I mean? Like, there's really no. And I like that.
You know that you can't see, like, how many people are watching. Like, there's no way I can see how many people are watching right now.
I don't check it anymore anyways. Actually, like, last week, I think I checked it once, but this week I haven't even checked it.
I think a good amount of people watch the archived ones though too, because I have a few friends that know that we do it, and I'll get texts on Wednesday or Thursday. You know, hey, saw the show at work. You know, good. It was a good show this week, or whatever, something
Right.
specific about the
That's
show.
why I
and it's
don't
like,
worry
oh,
about
cool.
live viewership, because it is a later show, and like I think a good portion of my subscriber base too is from the UK, because I've had now at least like half a dozen guys mention that. So, dude, who knows? It's like fucking,
it's like
you know
4
what
or
I mean?
5 in the morning there.
4 or 5 in the morning. They ain't
I had
watching.
a couple of
They have to
special
watch
guests
this
that were
piece of shit
invited that
show.
bailed because of that time difference, a 6 or 7 hour, time difference.
Same with
and,
me. I have special
yeah.
guests from Ireland, and it's like trying to fucking find time, dude. It's.
Yeah, because we'd have to probably, record it earlier in the day or something like that.
We don't have to
make
play hooky at work that day.
Tiffany,
Well,
now be
I'll just
honest
do
now
it
too.
two word.
Tiffany, be
But,
honest
I
too.
mean,
Now,
I think we're all trying to talk. So
Yeah.
go ahead, Jim.
You say Tim or Jim?
No, I said
No,
Tiffany.
Jim.
I was going to ask her. Prior to me inviting you on the show and everything, and again, be honest, as we all are brutally. Did you ever see the show before? Or?
Yeah, I saw a couple. Well, I mean, not all the way through, but
You
That's
did the Joe research methodology. Someone would be like, research this, and I spend 30 seconds, and that's all I spend on it. That's okay, though.
She turned it on and watched like the first minute, and she's like, "Okay, yeah, whatever."
I watched more than that, but I didn't watch, the whole couple
What
hours.
the fuck did I commit
just
to?
don't have the attention span, but.
Oh, that's okay.
You know
to be honest with you, I've never watched one through either, so.
Neither have I.
watched
And I don't
parts,
think Sean
but-
has either.
I didn't
true.
listen. I don't really watch.
I've watched a
I watched
minute or
every
two.
single one all the way through.
Oh, our show, I don't watch it now. The first few I did, but I try to watch the episodes that we do. But I meant like other video podcasts. Like it's funny that like I've gotten the idea from watching video podcasts, but I never watched one for more than a couple hours because I put it on and do something else. But like even if I still had another couple hours or like whatever, a lot of times I don't finish them because they just I don't know. It just becomes white noise at some point. So it's funny that like I have a show doing something that I wouldn't watch myself.
And I mean, I've watched it, and I like to have it in the background sometimes just to kind of listen and see, what we could, improve on and what we're, really good on. And, I think the dynamics, I mean, week 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, I mean, I think we struggled. I think it was kind of everybody finding themselves. And I think, what's really...
Sexually.
Well, I mean, I still haven't found myself sexually. I don't know if I'm fucking gay or straight. I mean, but one day I will. So I think it was just everybody finding themselves. I think really once we came back after the 2 weeks off, things kind of clicked a lot better, and everybody kind of found their niche, and it kind of worked well.
Yeah, that break was like sort of like a little blessing in disguise because at first we were all super frustrated, but I think it gave us all a little time to step back, kind of reflect, and then come back. Like, because I remember that first episode back, I felt totally different. I was like, yeah, I've got literally 30 times the subscribers that I had before, but I don't feel 30 times the pressure. I didn't care. I just was like, oh, no expectations now,
Right, and I mean, I think some of the bad things too is that it would have been great to be on and have the show right after you had all those subscribers because who knows what you could have maintained. It was, we lost it for 2 weeks, but you know what? Fuck it. It is what it is, and the people that watch, thank you. The people that don't watch, fuck you. Seriously.
It was that feeling of losing it too that made me not give a shit because once I had made one promise to try and get it up and it didn't work. That's what she said.
Every time I'm with her, that's what she said.
Of course, I had to do that. But like, what you make a promise to an audience and you can't deliver on it, and then it happened the next week, and it was just one of those things where I was like, well, clearly this is out of my hands, so I had to just sort of surrender. I had control over it, and that's why every week now, like, for our viewers, nobody knew, but we were on 10 or 15 minutes late because we sent all the invites out, but like, Google decided to screw Jim this week, and it happens every week without a doubt. One person like
getting screwed.
Yeah. So this week though, you know what the solution though, or the good thing was that we found a solution, like one that works for every week. So
yeah, whatever that did, the next time it happens to me, somebody hit me up with that magical link again because
dude,
that was the only thing that worked. I was trying that.
Sean.
Thank you. I mean, once in a while. I mean, now it's June of 2013. I will not have any kind of decent thought until sometime in 2014. I'm just letting you know. I won't.
I appreciate that you used up your one for this year on me because otherwise I still wouldn't be here.
Hey, it was just a thought. We were trying to brainstorm and trying to come up with a way, and I was just like, fuck it, try that. And
I completely I turned my computer off. I reset my modem. I did all kinds of different stuff, and it just wasn't clicking.
Yeah, dude. Google Hangouts has a way of fucking anally raping someone every single week.
Yeah, but you know what? We got to figure it out now, so fuck them. Guess what, Google? We win, so guess what? You get the big shake you this week, bitches.
Google.
But hey, congratulations everyone on 10 episodes. I've been having fun, guys.
Yeah, it's a blast. It's a blast, man. What's the next big milestone? 50? 5-0?
Probably. 50. I'd say we make like Tim light a fart or something.
Well, I've been muting mine actually, because I especially because there's someone else here, so. I remember whenever I do that, it'd be like a
and by the way, I mean,
killer.
She is our.
I'm not gonna name names, but
she is only our second female guest.
That's true.
Oh, Jamie, yeah, Jamie was on. That's right.
Jamie was on what, number 2, I believe.
She was on, but she was working and she got on late. I think so. I think she was on for like maybe 45 minutes or something. It wasn't a long period of time. So.
She puts up with me and Surf together enough that 45 minutes is probably way more than she wants to handle.
She actually might want to be on next week because she asked me last week, which I thought was kind of sweet. She was like, "Hey, once I'm done with recital, can I come on OD again?" I was like, "Fuck yeah! Like you can come on anytime you want. I don't give a shit."
Really,
and,
I think she asked it when we were together last Thursday.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like I was like, okay, like she's And I usually like, wives just do the supportive thing. And they're like, yeah, okay, I'll do it, honey. But like the fact that of her own volition she was interested, I thought that was pretty cool.
Joe.
Yeah, until after about 3 minutes on there, she's like, I'm gonna throw up, and then she's like, I gotta go.
It's funny because with my wife, the first couple of weeks, she was trying to get in and watch it from her phone and from the tablet that we have. And I didn't realize that mobile devices, I guess for what I think, sir, if you were mentioning that they're, if the servers are full or something like that, you can't get into things like that, live events or something.
Yeah, they render that shit last.
That's last, yeah. So she was basically getting that for the first couple of weeks, and she was like, well, I'm sorry I couldn't make it in, and and I think she'd probably watch a few minutes of it the next day or whatever, but then she, I don't know, third or fourth episode was able to get on, and she was started going on the laptop, and now actually watches it every week and enjoys it, or at least pretends to very well. So,
well, hey Carrie, thank you for pretending.
It's kind of neat, though. I mean, I look forward to Tuesday evenings now. I'm usually running around like a madman. We're trying to go and work out and get home in time, and get everything started with the kids early for getting them to bed and stuff like that. And also, I should mention too, because Tiffany, you're an hour ahead of us, but you have a 2-year-old, and and obviously, so you were able to get hair and makeup ready amongst having a 2-year-old today.
Yeah,
running around after was, I'm sure, very active, and you were able to make it on.
No idea.
I was surprised I was able to throw my wardrobe together in the limited time I have.
Oh, it is. You really did. You got yourself all spruced up, and we appreciate that.
I just imagine Sean having like a closet like like Bruce Wayne, like it's like the Batcave. You just open it up and just like 10 of that same sleeveless shirt and his backwards hats.
I don't think you understand. It's the same sleeveless shirt and hat every week. I don't wear it any other time.
Why do you? I don't understand. I guess I don't understand.
It's just, it's comfortable. My Bulls hat sits here every week until next Tuesday, and then I don't want to show off my hair. My hair is really long. It's gray on the side.
You're the silver fox, baby.
I am the silver fox, baby. And I just would rather wear the hat, because look, you look at the hat, you don't see the hair. And, I'm comfortable sitting here in my fucking cut-off starter shirt.
You look like a young, hip basketball guy.
Exactly. It makes me
White man can't jump.
Yeah, I was going to say, on the cast of White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It makes me feel like I'm 38 instead of 39, so...
makes me feel soft and sexual.
It does make me feel soft and sexual.
I'm telling you guys, anybody who, and I know a few of you live close enough to a Sonic, run out when you get a chance and try this peanut butter bacon milkshake. This is like the best fucking thing.
Can I tell you something? If I was to run out and try a bacon, any kind of shake, the cops would probably pull me over in about 3 seconds and say, "Sir, you should be driving right now." And then I could be calling Jim to bail me out of jail because I tell him
I'm not saying go now, but if you got one near you, boy, I tell you, next time you go and you eat out or decide that you have a taste for something, and plus too, because my wife and I have been working out, I haven't really been eating like candy or anything. Not that I'm a big candy or ice cream person anyway, but this is probably the first milkshake that I've had in like a couple of months anyway. But I don't know what it is about this. The saltiness of the bacon just goes so well with like the peanut butter milkshake. It's lovely.
Dude, I just started getting the bacon waffle. I know this tripped everyone out looking at my screen. I just started getting the bacon waffle at Grammy D's, and it's pretty rad. The reason I have my screen share up is because I wanted to show, look at this crazy person who's just randomly posting shit. What the fuck is this about?
It's EO. Wait, is it the guy that was on last week?
No, I've never seen this before. That's so funny.
Someone just stumbled across this on the great thing we call the internet.
Yeah, I just love that there's Carrie at the top. I am not pretending. I really enjoy the show.
Joe, when I visited, that's when I got the bacon waffle, man. You might have subliminally like transferred over.
Oh, dude, that's exactly what it was. In fact, I got it specifically because you had ordered it, and I usually try and steer away from carbs, but I wasn't. I had just gotten over the stomach flu last week, and I was looking for something starchy and kind of somewhat bland
bacon
instead of like a big skillet. And dude, it was, oh my god, it gave me a stiffy for sure. I got a little chubs. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
The everything one piece apparently has some kind of grammar problems, or just likes to ramble on with random letters and numbers, or really likes to weed. I don't know.
It's someone on acid just tripping the fuck out watching our show.
Hey, if you're on acid tripping out, thank you for tuning in.
It's actually just Gilman after he kills a kegerator.
Exactly.
you know, in some ways, I almost wish I was able to commit to watching a full video podcast of someone that I like every week. Because think about, like, out of the people on the channel, there's probably out of 100 or so views, whatever week that people look at Overdose, there's probably only like half a dozen people that are watching every fucking minute of the show. You know, because I get disinterested by our own show sometimes. I'm like, okay, and I turn it off. You know, the few people that are actually watching everything, that's so cool because they have inside jokes with us that nobody else does. You know what I mean? They know shit.
What the fuck is going on here? Is everybody taking
Jim always sends it.
I'm just like, fucking A. For one, I don't let my kids take pictures of me, so fuck you all.
What is going on?
I don't know. I took a picture. It got awkward.
Yeah,
That's
well,
so funny.
anytime I hear a camera come on, it gets awkward, man. Seriously, I don't need my picture out. I've got a fucking already a warning.
Some things are funny, Sean.
It's like back to week 1 again. It's
The
like,
world is digging around.
those are like the greatest moments of week 1 when we're all realizing what the fuck's going on and what the hell we're doing. And it's like, look, I can put a fucking pirate hat on and a fucking pen.
Oh my god, it's
It's like children all again.
Wow.
oh my god, so ridiculous.
Be mature, guys.
Seriously, if it wasn't
guys,
for the alcohol,
let's get mature
I would
here.
click.
We need to fucking be serious right now. Everyone needs to chill. the
Really
fuck.
serious.
Can I have a monocle?
I have a monocle.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what's our next topic?
Our next topic is Google Effects. Google Effects suck.
I want to suck your dick.
I want to suck your dick.
Wait, how'd I click on that? Sorry.
I think we
Sorry,
went through
guys,
most
I'm
of the
not
important ones. I don't
They're-
know.
Hey, Yellow Bus, they're all important, man. Seriously. Every topic we have here is important.
Oh, you're so funny, Sean.
Fuck off, dick.
Just think though, this will be on the internet for years to come, unless you decide to take it down. Like like my kids can watch this.
Oh man, it's a good one.
Yeah, my kids would be dead fucking saying, that's my dad. Seriously.
Like, because you kill him or what?
Well, no, they just wouldn't fucking do it. They have fucking pride.
Well, since no one's going to see this because this is like in the last few minutes of the show, so for the 6 people that ever see this, I think I'm gonna do a reaction video. I've discovered all these applause sound effects from like studio applause that I have in my video editing software. I think I'm just gonna do a video just reacting to laughter for like 3 minutes straight.
So you know what I really want to talk about is, we talk about Netflix every week. So what about, how do you guys feel about Netflix to run a original DreamWorks TV series, basically starting in 2014? They let
So wait, is this TV series gonna be like the shitty stuff where like, okay, like today my son watched the Mater's Tall Tales from Cars. So it's just they basically couldn't secure Owen Wilson, so they just got Larry the Cable Guy to do like a bunch of little like 10-minute shorts. Is that like a DreamWorks exclusive that they're gonna do? Like where like the exclusives are gonna be these shitty little B-rate?
Well, no, they're gonna use exclusives like they want to get more involved into basically having TV shows and stuff like that. It's really hard for me to talk to you with that fucking shit on.
Oh man, that's great.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do that.
Making.
Things are taking a turn for the worse, and I somehow don't mind. Oh my god.
Wait, I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
Yeah, sorry to just keep clicking things. I'm just really intrigued. Jim's making love to his bacon shake right now. it's awesome. We're all so
It's so
totally
difficult to
wrong.
drink too because get this, it's got the little pieces of bacon in it, and they get caught in the straw all the time. So it's like having one of those milkshakes, man. That's got a chocolate chip cookie dough. The cookie dough is always jamming up the straw. So you're sitting there and you're like, oh my god, that's just so tasty. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, flow of milkshake is gone.
Dude,
So
Culver's
you gotta
does
work
that
with
all
the
the
straw a
time
little
with their strawberry
Terrible.
shakes. They put like such big chunks of strawberry in it, which are really delightful. But
But you got to have those big fat ass like half-inch thick straws, man.
yeah, and they
You know what
don't.
I mean?
They're
the
like
ones
the
like
bigger
if you snort
straws,
a
but they're
line of
not big
cocaine
enough.
with, you die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
big.
And there's always that problem chunk of strawberry where it doesn't matter how hard you suck, you can't get it through the straw, so you avoid it, but it keeps appearing at different locations within the shake. Even if you physically pick like, I'll suction the piece of strawberry to my straw, I will excavate it and put it to a different part of the shake, and then intentionally put my straw into a different area where I know the chunk doesn't exist, and that chunk will magnetize itself back towards my straw and fuck up my shit within like 10 seconds.
It's a weird phenomenon.
I like how much passion we just had about that.
It is a strange phenomenon. Just like, have you ever noticed, like, you know, this is what I'm always boggled by. Why are the crumbs always at the bottom of the bag, like, of potato chips? How do they work their, like, you know, is it really the probability, like, that they find their way through the pieces of chips? Because they must originate everywhere. They're not just happening in one spot. I understand the concept of gravity, but really, are they such fine particles that they must always end up at the bottom of the bag? Why isn't it happening during other parts of the chip eating process?
You're grabbing the bigger ones. You're discriminating.
Maybe it is a process of
I
discrimination.
think you're being selective at the beginning, and at the end, you're just grabbing whatever's available.
I think those are good observations.
Kind of like when you go to a bar.
Those are really solid observations.
Yeah, seriously, by the end of the night, the 300-pounder looks really good to me.
Dude, every week I go through this climate crisis in my basement because it's like -5 down here, as Sean can testify to. But like when I'm wearing the headphones, which you can't see right now, they keep all of your like the heat in your head. So like my face will get flushed, but like my extremities will be cold. So from like here up, I've got a fucking blanket, and I don't know. It's just I'm struggling.
Right.
I'm like I'm cold, but I'm sweating. You know what I mean? It's like totally the most uncomfortable thing ever.
Joe, we get it. We'll all jerk off during the show. I get it.
That wouldn't be any different from every other week.
You don't need a blanket.
Y'all motherfuckers.
It's funny because you keep saying that, but it's definitely like legitimately like 100 degrees here right now.
Well, dude, like your summer in Arizona is like our winter in Chicago, right? Like nobody's outside.
No, it's kind of like you go from air conditioning house to air conditioned car to air conditioned office, and if you go outside, you just bitch and sweat. Which, by the way, Brian and Jason are visiting next weekend.
Who are Brian and Jason?
My Asian friend and my skinny smart friend.
Okay.
For all you guys out there.
Motherfucker. Would you rather be blind or deaf?
Seriously, right now I'd rather be blind, so I don't have to look at you guys with this fucking Google Plus shit on.
All right, hold on.
Why not go all the way and be Helen Keller?
Why didn't Helen Keller have a good time at the zoo?
Why didn't Helen Keller have good time at the zoo?
Because she couldn't hear or see anything.
Seriously, like, to be honest with you, I need a blind and deaf girlfriend because she couldn't hear the shit I say and she couldn't see what I look like. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to post that on Facebook, looking for a blind and deaf
Put an ad on
woman.
Craigslist.
Fuck yeah. How's she going to read it?
Craigslist, I'm sure.
I mean, how's she going to read it? Hopefully she has a friend that can read. I mean, I have friends. Most of them can't read, but...
Motherfucker. Tim, would you rather be deaf or blind?
Probably deaf because I don't listen anyway. Be honest.
Seriously, if I keep masturbating away, I'm going to be blind in a daze.
Tiffany, would you rather be deaf or blind?
Deaf, for sure.
Why?
Well, being blind is just so much more of a handicap. I mean...
Well, yeah, it is a disadvantage for certain.
It really is, and well, I mean, not from experience or anything, but just you can communicate still if you were deaf. You can either write stuff down and I don't know. There's just there's closed captioning. You can read. You can still watch movies and you can read the subtitles and everything. But I don't know. I just think that there's so much beauty to look at that it would just suck to not be able to see it, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Jim, what about you? What would... I'm sorry, I'm laughing at my own stupid thing. Jim, what would you rather be, deaf or blind?
I'm already visually impaired, so I'd go with deaf just for variety. Variety's sake.
I'm already
You know.
blind.
So,
Seriously, I mean, if I had to go with it, really, I kind of agree with Tiffany. I mean, I'm very visual, and I like to. I mean, if I wasn't able to see, I mean, that would fucking suck. I mean, I couldn't imagine that. I mean, not being able to hear, I don't fucking listen anyways, man. I would ask my ex-wife. I don't fucking listen. Seriously. So, fuck, if I couldn't see, that would be fucking horrible. You know, I could see all the beauty around me, all the chicks in the short shorts that walk through my store every day. You know, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, I'd be able to hear them saying pervert, but I wouldn't be able to see them. What the fuck do I want to hear that for? I hear that enough every other day. Seriously.
See, I wish I could stroke my mustache, but I can't. I can only go
Well,
underneath it.
well, with your other hand
Don't limit
stroking something
yourself.
else. Why not?
Don't limit yourself, Joe.
See now, Tiffany, you actually look good with a mustache, which is a weird thing to say to a woman.
I like the double horns.
Yeah, those will work out really good. And happy birthday. But I really like my monocle. I really want to, you know, I should video capture this, and I should do like a inside the actor studio type thing. I'm talking an obnoxious accent every week. Yeah, that'd be fun
Yeah,
to do
buddy.
at least.
Exactly. So I think that wraps up Overdose 10.
I concur. Train derailed.
Train derailed. I do want to thank Tiffany for coming on today. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank
we
you,
appreciate
Tiffany.
it.
Oh
You're-
wait, this is where the sound effects are appropriate. Hold on.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Get out the...
Thank you for having
We appreciate it. And thank you for coming on such short notice. I mean, it was nice to have you on. Yellow Bus, thank you for
It was a pleasure.
everything you do. When I figure out what it is, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I thought that was appropriate. I thought that was
Exactly. Jim, I'm glad we were eventually able to figure out what the hell we need to do to get you on today, so thank you for being here. And sir,
thank you for using up your one good thought, too.
Exactly. No
Your
problem.
one
I
right
mean-
idea, or however you described it,
Use
man.
your
That's
master
like,
Pokeball,
it was your
man.
get out of jail free card, and you used it up on me, buddy.
I did.
You know?
And Surf Dub, this is what I got for you.
Oh, you're so funny.
And these were both just
Sean,
on
you're
my
so
ass.
funny.
Like
You're
a
such a
bad
kidder.
70s
You always kidding around, Sean.
Thank you. Stop it. Cut it out.
We like to
man.
have fun around here. We like to have fun around
Cut it
here.
out. Seriously.
We like to have a good time around here.
So thank
All right,
everybody
ladies and
for watching Overdose 10. We'll be back next Tuesday at hopefully 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, now that we've got all of our technical difficulties worked out.
So you guys
So
don't
again,
see
thank
next
you
time.
guys, and we're out. Peace.
2%
Bye-bye.
milk.